All righty. Welcome back to the Comics Aficionados after an eventful comic book week, and we've got a great panel to talk about the happenings. A lot of it was people arguing with each other and freaking out online, but we did have an awesome retailer panel happen on Miller Time. We got a couple of announcements by like Marvel or DC, what we might get to, but I think people are going to be more interested in some of the discourse that was going on this week, and we do have returning to the channel. Perch, somebody was asking about you, and I'm glad we were able to deliver you this week.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me, and great audience. It's good to see Aaron again. We had a beer some time ago, like 6 months ago. I'm remembering that. So good to see everybody.
Did he spike it?
No.
He didn't turn it into like a Boilermaker or something cool?
No. Just a beer. I think.
You seem like a Boilermaker kind of guy, Perch.
Yeah, I'll drink anything, as has been established.
You know what would make this beer better? A shot of whiskey.
That's true. Yeah, I agree.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So anyway, where have you been? You've been out of town still? You finally made it back?
Been out of the country a lot, but here, getting ready to enjoy the holidays. And, you know, I'm surprised. Was something happening in comics? I'm shocked that there's people upset and arguing. That seems very unlike comics. And during the holiday season, too. That's a real shame.
Can you believe it? Now, Perch, you got to be in the same boat I am, right? Where you buy your own present, your big present for Christmas. What did you get yourself?
I haven't done anything, so I am nothing has been purchased anywhere. So it's terrible.
I've got some new lights. I'm going to have a different setup for the YouTubes in 2024. Apparently, they're going to have Batman or background lights to where you can't see my entire living room, and hopefully, it'll distract from that.
I think you should take that green behind you and green screen and put animated things behind you. If you do that's
just in the one box.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, it would probably work. It's bright enough.
You could do it really subtle. That like
little
it looks
angel
like
halo over your head.
Yeah, or that. Yeah, devil horn.
That we can have the dude doing the truffle shuffle from Goonies.
Yes, see, you've got all the ideas. Just put it into motion. That's a great idea.
I'm betting you can hire that guy probably cheap these days.
For sure. Yeah.
Who wants an adult? Just an adult doing the truffle shuffle behind you. I don't know. That you'd lose viewers.
That would be weird.
Give it a shot.
What do you think, Perch? Does the I remember what was it? Joker said this city needs an enema or whatever. Does the comic book industry need the Arby's shits? Is that what it is?
Yes. Okay. I can get on board with finally a use for Arby's. We should just feed Arby's to all the people in comics and then clear everything out. It's a good idea.
The disrespect to Arby's is still going on, but I'll play with it. Whatever.
It's no Texas
like
Roadhouse
Arby's and Taco Bell.
I came back, ate at Texas Roadhouse the other night. It was wonderful.
I'm so excited. That's what I'm going to get to do in February because my wife and I are heading to the big city to do a meeting there, and there is a Texas Roadhouse, and I am looking forward to it because I did do a ribeye steak this week that was delicious.
Right?
But theirs is even better than mine because mine's frozen.
Well, good for you.
Can't get fresh meat here.
That sucks. Yes.
Yeah. If you get a fresh steak here where I live, it's like caribou instead of beef.
I was going to go with a different animal, but glad caribou. That's good.
It doesn't taste the same. So obviously we'll be getting to that with Perch. We've also got Josh. How you doing, Josh? You here?
I'm here. I think I'm here.
Is this 3 weeks in a row?
3 weeks in a row. And I'll be here
strange.
Next weekend too.
Yeah, it's nice that the holidays are falling on a Monday this year, so we don't have to worry about it interfering with us talking nonsense on Saturdays.
Hell yeah, I'm down for that.
How was your comic book week? Did you finally catch up? Did you get Beast World?
No, I didn't get Beast World. Sorry.
Man, you guys are crazy. Perch, am I wrong? Is Beast World like a lot of fun?
It's dumb fun. Yes, I agree.
Yes.
Yeah, the turn on for me was realizing that Rice isn't going to finish art, so I'm just like, we'll wait and see. But
yeah,
I'm holding out for a we'll wait and see. I don't have faith in Tom Taylor and the fact that Rice isn't going to finish art. I'm just like, we'll see.
Yeah, but the thing is DC always has good artists. Well, almost always has good artists. So like the fill-in
beat me to it.
Yeah, we were all thinking it. Everybody was thinking it. Josh, how do you feel about an event that is really intended to set up the next event?
Oh, I hate it. Absolutely hate it.
You mean comic books?
Well, okay.
I mean, how long's that been? I mean,
well,
it's been for a long time now, right? I mean,
yeah,
we celebrate certain people, but let's not forget that thing was going on in the aughts,
It's been a while. That's true.
It's been a while.
Bendis definitely set up the. I remember him being
before
like the
that.
first guy that would do the event that led into 3 more events down the road.
Yeah, but see, the difference then, even then, was that you would have an event to set up other events, but you would still have consequences of these events play out in other titles.
They didn't,
time.
and they
Now-
also didn't self-retcon.
Yeah, now you have the event, and nothing really happens in the event until like the last 6 pages of the last issue. And then in the very next issue, within the first 4 pages, they undo everything that just happened in the event to then go into the new event. Like, it's stupid.
The event is a teaser for the next event, still told somewhat of a story by itself. And here it's just, I don't know. It is dumb fun. I agree, but it's laying on a little too heavy. The Amanda Waller's going to do some shit, and we got Brainiac coming, and like it's just too much of. It's teasing too quickly right out the gate. The next thing, which that is newer.
Can you imagine the Super Bowl setting up another big matchup in football instead of being the conclusion to all the things that happened that season?
We just had an NBA play-in series tournament.
I couldn't get excited. I couldn't
What
act
is
like
that?
the in-season tournament was interesting.
That's no
What's
good.
that? I mean, that was stupid.
Yeah.
It was stupid. I agree.
It doesn't mean anything, you know? I mean,
It would
I had
be
one
like
friend of
if,
the channel was acting like it was a big deal because the Lakers won and they were going to do a banner. I was like, "Do you, brother?"
yeah.
You ain't getting
I
me
mean,
on
I'm
that
fine
one.
with that, but you know, I mean,
Comics are a little bit like the Super Bowl. If right before the Super Bowl came on in the pregame show, a different team came onto the field and just like urinated all over one of the other teams and like, we'll get you next year.
dude, that would be awesome if that happened.
We got obviously Yule Carter from Fantastic Comics, a friend of the channel, a comic book retailer, and we will be talking some retail. How you doing, Yule?
Wonderful. Thanks for having me on. It's been
Is Beast
quite the
World
week.
selling like gangbusters?
I wouldn't say gangbusters. I don't
Oh,
order a
dang it.
lot of the Titan stuff. DC, for the most part, there's a few books that do well, but all the other titles just don't really sell hot. So I order responsibly.
Well, that's what you got to do as a retailer.
those
It sucks because
lenticular
DC
covers,
does
though.
have some better books than Marvel right now.
Yeah,
As far as quality.
we're going to talk about it. And even when they do have a better book, sometimes someone that works on it sucks.
That's true. These things happen. We've also aaron Aaron Sparrow, the man of the people. Everybody was just telling me how much they love you this week.
I know, it's great. I got almost as much love this week as Perch is getting in the chat. +1 detractor, Perch.
Well, shit, I should look at the chat.
Apparently, Perch, you're woke.
Well, yeah.
That's what I'm going to put on the green screen behind
Sure.
me. Perch is woke.
Yeah. Oh no, I've never heard this
Everybody.
before.
Jeez.
No.
Good thing they don't know about me.
Oh, I saw it. Perch defends all this crap that's being published. Well, it's true. Like if you go to my channel, it's endless video after endless video of just loving everything that's going on. That is always what people say is like, Perch, why are you always like the X-Men stuff? It's always so great. Everything's so perfect. Loves comics. That is definitely the vibe my channel gives off.
Why have you been defending
Really?
Hawkgirl? I don't get it, Perch.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Hawkgirl best comic of the last decade. I definitely say that over and over. So, yes.
Well, the funny thing is, like, so Perch, obviously I watch your videos, and I just find you like to be like just reasonable.
Yeah.
Like, just kind of like middle of the road reasonable. You call out
How would
stuff you think sucks, and
Boring.
you
I'm
and you tell people to
Boring,
like you just try and
Don't
you
say
call
boring,
try
you
and
say dry.
It's boring. I mean, this is it always it does amaze me. I give you're hearing it from me directly. I give the most lukewarm, obvious take in the world. Like, comics should have pages. And then
What?
people come in like, how dare you, sir? You socialist. It's like, okay.
Well, you know how you get in a fight on the internet? Say something.
Yeah,
Anything.
that is true.
Not me.
Happened to me this week. I got some guys trying to push me into a struggle session. And up
Really?
until that point, I thought, a struggle session was Danny Lore trying to compose a tweet. But, otherwise, it's like I recognized what was happening and was like, oh, I see what you guys are doing. Good luck with that.
Somebody that for some reason never gets in trouble for the things he says is Doc, and you say the most outlandish stuff on the channel.
I do. I
People
never
love you for it. It doesn't make any sense.
Here's the thing. Everybody knows they can't bug me. They can't get under my skin. Like
It's just too thick.
I'm
There's
not
just
going,
too much thickness,
He's
Doc.
like the
is what it
rhino,
is.
yeah.
there is like
He's too woke. He's just he's
absolutely,
This is the problem right there.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Doc,
Like
Doc, would you say that you're down with the thickness?
I am down with the thickness, mostly in my midsection area. But no, like I mean,
It's gonna make the rudest joke ever right there.
oh, I know. Do it, bitch, do it.
I was gonna tie it to Mags. It's okay.
Yeah, but like, no, who cares? I mean, it's the fucking internet. I don't give a shit.
Is this true, Doc? There's a hypothesis that you're actually Mumbles, the guy that's always messing with Perch.
Actually, no, that'd be
Well,
that guy's kind of boring. Right?
he is. He needs a new bit. Yeah. No, Doc's stuff would be more inventive.
Generally, I would say so. I've noticed a couple of Mumbles posts. I'm like, really? That's the best you can do? I can do better than that.
Yeah, we're both just casually swinging at this point. Nobody even.
Oh, it's one of those relationships where you know it's over, but you're just going through the motions.
Yeah, it's like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Those are the worst.
Hmm.
Neither one of you wants to admit it's over.
Yeah. Oh, it's over. I'll admit it.
The magic is gone. Before we get to some of these super chats, because we do have some of them early on, I do want to give some shout outs to the new patrons this week. We got Brandon. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, aka the Midnight Phantom, the protector of Evenshire. We've got Rodman Moore, the Shadow Owl, the protector of Philadelphia, Jeremy Shook, aka the Warden, the protector of Cell Block 6, and Mark, aka the Hero Skyward, who's protecting the Cloud Kingdoms. And I definitely appreciate everyone for checking out the Patreon and signing up this week. It's been a whole lot of fun, and we're doing lots of great stuff there. There is a link in the video description if you want to do that one. Now let's hear from some peoples, because we got Ryan Wilson in the house. I noticed that a lot of people keep saying the middle-aged male like it's a bad thing. If comics are for everyone, then they should have comics as well. Let's start calling out this bigotry.
Ageism is real.
It is real.
I mean, go where the
And
money
there's
is.
nobody that hates middle-aged males more than me. I'm tired of all you fuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the
People need to do it for
appropriate-
good capitalism reasons. Like the middle-aged group, it tends to be your most affluent. So I mean, go get that money, son.
Because they're not ready to retire, so they can still spend money. They're not thinking about it that way, but they actually have accumulated funds.
Yeah,
My old ass father told me something. He said that all the surveys, when you're trying to get free coins for whatever game you're playing or something like that, they pay attention to the old people more than anybody else.
for sure.
That's another thing.
It's easier to take their money.
We don't think very hard on blowing $5 or $10 on something like, some game, some anything, like whatever it is we're into.
Clearly, Doc is not married to a Filipino accountant
Oh, yeah.
like I am.
No, I am not.
$5 is a serious purchase in this house, man.
I understand this, but my point is, most of us are like, yeah, it's $5. Who the fuck cares? Would we be are we going to get pissed off if the vending machine eats our $5? Yes. Are we still going to buy a $3 fucking soda out of it? Also, yes.
You know why we get pissed off when it takes the $5? Because we've all become John. By the time you hit that age, your mid 40s, and beyond, you've basically become John Goodman from The Big Lebowski. And it takes the vending machine takes you $5, and you're like, no, what's mine is mine.
Yes.
And you will beat the shit out of that machine and end up paying $2,000 to replace it just based on principle.
Yeah, you'll have the same rage with $1 or $5 at that
Yes.
age. It does not matter. It's that thing screwed you, and it has to die.
Yes, and it will die.
Carrie, Nerdy Girl creates. Good morning, guys. Keep the review the good and the bad. Someone has to help local comic shops, and then there's some throwaway hashtag.
I like that throwaway hashtag.
Yeah. That could catch
But
up.
definitely got to stand up for the LCS. That's the one thing I do regret, Yule, is when I was having my little video about Mark. I probably should have mentioned some of the alternatives out there. If you need to go find another book, go read Green Lantern by Jeremy Adams. It's been really good. I've been enjoying Beast World. And there are certainly a few books out there that I think can replace Batman Superman World's Finest if you're feeling similar to
There's
me.
always something. I mean,
Absolutely.
and there was something that came out a while ago, and your tastes change, and maybe something that was really, really bad because things are worse. It's become great.
Yeah, like Chuck Austin on X-Men.
It's time to get back into the golden age of X-Men.
Yeah, I mean, comparatively
Well, it did come out,
speaking,
Doc. That was the important thing. It did come out.
Yeah, it was.
Adam Frey just wanted to say, considered buying World's Finest. If I had, it'd be because Wes and Doc recommended it. I am really not because Mark is being an ass. What does that say about the industry? Doc never recommended the book. Doc refused to even touch that book. It was Drew and I that were recommending that one.
Doc was ahead of the curve on his F. Mark Waid.
He was ahead of the curve. He's just a bigger a-hole than me.
I am a much bigger a-hole than you.
That's a long curve. This is not this is not breaking news.
Speaking of things we could make a joke about.
Yes.
Maybe we should go through every decade and figure out who the biggest ass in comics was during that time.
That would be a fun retrospective.
That would be
the end of the year thing. We should absolutely do that. That'd be fun as hell.
Well, I mean,
at this point, I think Waid gets the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Well, he definitely gets an award. Yes,
Waid gets at least the last 3 decades.
He's a Hall of Famer.
He skipped a decade. He was on
Michael Jordan of
again. Yeah. That'd be fun to look at that because there's some real pricks in the 70s and 80s for sure.
He's got 5 rings on his hands with turds on them.
Yeah,
I have to.
My industry.
I mean, there's a lot of people that can go on this list.
Oh,
there's a lot of people that have the multiple years in a row award also. Not just.
I love Burn to death, but he definitely would get a ring or two. So.
Yeah, I mean,
he's just grumpy.
Yeah, right.
Oh, well,
the thing is,
some little rings. It'd be great.
Waid would have enough rings to have 2 sets of brass knucks for the punch. He'd
be like Hal Jordan in the one cover where he's got
that's right.
I would throw money in and we could make some little rings, just cheap rings. And then, members of your channel could get them. And then when you go to conventions and you're getting that thing signed, you just hand the ring to the creator. Yeah. And it'd be so funny for a period of time while they don't know what's going on. And then you're going to get punched, but that'd be a fun moment.
Come on.
Your Hall of Fame.
Come on.
Wade's never thrown a punch in his life.
No, sure.
Mark Waid,
he certainly has.
Yes,
documented.
He can definitely punch a wall. I mean, his name should be Kyle. But look, the guy's a piece of shit. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure that if an actual adult male stood in front of him, he'd be too chicken shit to throw a punch.
Man, yeah, well, even when he goes and actually,
what's that?
Did we almost get a Perch face reveal?
No, my camera's just glitching.
Oh, I thought it looked like you had satin curtains or something. I was like, I knew this slide.
I do sit in like a velvet tub.
Yeah.
No, that's the computer, sadly.
No, even when Waid actually does confront somebody in person, he has to have backup. Like he never would have confronted Rob Granito if EVS hadn't backed him up. He even when he was like, if you see Richard Meyer, get me. He had to try to make sure that you have a mob with you so that when I confront him, I've got a bunch of people with me because I could never do it by myself. I gotta have backup. It's ridiculous.
Miss Maria says, did you hear about the movie, The American Society of Magical Negroes? Yes, it's a real movie.
I saw the trailer and I just kind of chuckled and moved on.
No, but that's an old story. That's we're giving up magic for love. It's a remake of a very old story. But then they're modernizing it with something to give it some attention, and that is
gotta get that modern lens on it, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean,
by saying Negroes.
Can anybody believe you're buying this ticket? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, imagine if you and this is just another one of those things. We'll move on quickly because this isn't really worth talking about. But just imagine if you reversed the races there, and it was the Society of Magical Caucasians, and they had to have a magic order to placate black people so that they didn't attack them. And just
it's understood, Aaron.
That was Harry Potter 4.
Yeah. In fairness, I do own that Caucasians Redskins shirt, and I love that shirt, and it's awesome.
Callum says, I'm glad I made Josh laugh last week. Also, that Fire and Ice issue, the writer doesn't have a life, does she? Does she even know what the story is about?
No, she doesn't know what the story's about, and I did enjoy that laugh. So,
but there's also no story there at all. There's literally not a story.
There is a story where they punch a drag queen. It's a story.
Did they punch the drag queen?
No.
No, they punched the lady that was
the protester. That's right.
the protester that
Yeah.
actually didn't do anything and almost murdered her.
They punched the actual woman that wore a ball gown and high heels, not the man wearing the ball
I
gown.
was too busy rolling my eyes and saying, "What is this shit?" And Aaron can attest. I went into our group chat being like, "I know drag queens, and they don't act like this." Like, burn it to the ground.
Well, human
Dylan
beings don't
says-
act like anybody in that story.
Dylan says, "Wes, we love you, just not as much as Aaron." Yeah,
This has become a meme.
But your name is easier to spell, Wes. You know?
well, apparently, it says orange. Like, Dylan, you can't even spell. How could
Aaron.
Hey, everybody knows that
Alex
now.
says-
Like I get that all the time. Hey, Ron.
Uh-oh.
A friend lent me his PS5 to play the Spider-Man 2 game. Now I understand why people have mixed feelings about the story and where it might lead. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't good. The game, though, I mean, my problem with the game is that it didn't do much. I mean, and this is a problem with some of the sequels to games is it's just the same game. They could have done a downloadable extra level pack or other things. I mean, there wasn't much new brought to the game, and the story elements were very jammed into that title. So it's like, I don't know. I'm looking for something new and fun to play, which actually kind of evolves what it is I'm doing. I didn't, showing my age, I didn't love Super Mario 2, but at least they did something very different there, and it felt like a different game. Spider-Man just being more of the same game, which was also more of the Miles game, but with kind of unskippable story elements. Like that game was dull long before we got to the shitty ending.
Well, remember Mario Brothers.
You didn't
2
like
wasn't actually
Super Mario 2
Brothers
pulling
2.
up the
All right. Are we really doing
pulling up
this,
the
guys?
turnips and throwing them?
Yeah,
It was a reskin. It was a reskin. Come on.
It was. 3 was better. I like 3. 3 was, but
Grateful
No, but the
Dog, any
Spider-Man game,
idea-
it's got problems.
yeah.
Any idea why?
This is
series
why
like
people
Blade
love
and-
me, Wes, is because I respond to the super chats when you're trying to get past them.
No, I mean, we do need to get to the main topic.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk
We'll
about the
have
history of Super
time.
Mario Brothers 2.
Come on.
Don't worry, Doc will have his rant. We'll let it go.
Well, yeah, we got at least 5 rants between Doc and Aaron in this.
Let's get
They're
some
gonna
new
take
Twitch
up
streamers
for a
on here
while.
too. Come on.
Yeah,
I
you
would
never
make
say
it
anything
in a
about-
heartbeat.
They reversed
Josh,
it.
pop that top off.
Grateful Dog, any ideas why series like Blade and Incredible Hulk are constantly shuffling artists? The 2 on 3 off, it makes me wary to continue these series. Perch might have more idea about this. I do believe Nick Klein just probably takes a while as an artist. He's never continuously done a run where he didn't have to have a fill-in.
Yeah, I think, and Aaron will have perspective here too, I'm sure. But one of the other key reasons is they don't sign long contracts for these guys, and so they'll do like 3 issues with somebody, and then if the comic is selling reasonably well, or if they'll sometimes go back to that same artist, and the artist is like, well, yeah, thanks, except I had to go take another job because I had no job security for what I'm doing next, so I'm available again in another 3 months. And that's one of the big reasons right now you're getting a bunch of broken runs is they're just not signing the creative team for any length of time. And then sometimes some people are late for sure, or need more time. But
Well,
Elena Casagrande doesn't feel like an artist that probably needs like big breaks to catch up or whatever, because her art clearly is digital and much
Nick
less
Klein.
detailed.
Yeah, Nick Klein actually draws on paper.
Yeah.
yeah,
I think you also have an issue of each book has certain annual budgets, or budgets for what's been greenlit, and sometimes a artist's page rate doesn't entirely fit within that budget, but they still want to use them, so they'll give 2 or 3 issues to that artist and then 2 or 3 issues to somebody that is significantly cheaper in order to balance it out.
yeah. No, there's money factors too. But I mean, one of the people have been writing me lately saying like, why do some of these comics, like the new Captain America, feel like they're mini series, right, and ongoing? Because there's no supporting cast, there's no subplots. It's a very just small story. And the reason is the writer is given 6 issues with the option to extend to 12, and they're told don't spread and branch, and so this is what happens, And Blade has been a pretty enjoyable comic for me, but the shuffling artists suck.
The art really took a weird turn this week.
Yeah, it's terrible when this happens. I hate it.
Man.
Even when you
Blade
get
says-
somebody good on the book, writing a good solid story, you can't keep fans locked in because you can't have a consistent artist on it. It sucks.
It does.
Wade says, I will say I don't like this term cancel pig. Something just sounds too demeaning to me. I mean, canceling Mark Waid as a cancel snake seems better to me.
Cancel rat.
I like bacon, so I can definitely agree with this. Lane's right.
Bacon.
I think Wade's best moniker is still the one that he created and to mock
King Baby,
mock Trump, but ended up being applied to him, which is King Baby.
Yeah. Well, it's more personal also, and less the broad stroke isn't there. Everybody should be able to have their own little nickname in the very least, a wrestling persona.
Sure.
Yeah, like I'm the D-man.
Exactly. Yeah. So King Baby. I mean, we all know.
Yeah.
There's a button to make Perch.
There you go. But nobody really likes. I mean, so think about it this way. Let me try and land this in a way that's not going to get a bunch of woke comments. But I don't think anybody is super happy that cancel pigs is a term, because we prefer that not to exist at all. This childish bullshit behavior. It is a crappy term, and none of us feel. I don't know. For me, I'm not thrilled that this is bouncing around. But what the real problem is the behavior that's led to all this. It's not the term. It's that we're in this stupid middle school thing in the first place.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, like if they hadn't called you.
Go ahead.
If they hadn't called you Nazis and racists and misogynists and homophobes and transphobes, it wouldn't have gotten to this point. But this is the die they cast.
Well, I don't know who the you is, but it isn't me.
No, nobody wanted. I mean, I don't think any. I'm sure some people all do, but by and large, most of the people of comics don't love that we're here.
No,
I don't think anyone.
But they also
we should have a show.
But they also still give fucking work to the people that do. So
I agree.
Fuck the industry.
I agree. Yeah, but this is just pathetic. It is. It was a bunch of childish behavior that is the kind of stuff you get in a playground, but set in a corporation where there is there's real money and real talent, real work, and so. Like I've had a lot of people mail over the last week going, doesn't this term suck? People should stop using it. It's like, yeah, the term sucks, but why did you get here? Why? I mean, you're examining the wrong thing. It got here for a reason. Like people didn't invent that term out of smoke. You guys acted like jackasses and you did a lot of things behind the scenes and you sent a lot of messages, down in DMs and other things. And this is the inevitable result. So yeah, it sucks that this is the result, but you can't deny that you knew why it came here.
Well, am I the only one that took the correlation of cancel pig as in like truffle pig, cancel pig? All you're doing is seeking out a reason to cancel people.
Sniffing out. Yeah.
A little bit.
Anyways.
Caleb says Venom is awesome, and there's even a hint to King Null and grows wings, and Craven is a badass. I want to see that version on the big screen instead. I'm assuming he's talking about a video game.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2.
Cool?
Okay, because I've been reading Venom, and it's not awesome. In fact, I would say it wasn't very good.
I didn't like that they had Craven kill off the villains from the first one, like Vulture and Scorpion. I thought that sucked.
Well, wouldn't Craven want to kill a Vulture that was a human? He's the ultimate fighter.
Sure, but
kill everything.
Again, now you're taking. It's just like the MCU. You take stuff off the table when you just kill off the villains. Now, some villains should be killed off, like that version of Taskmaster should definitely have been killed off, and everything that when they do these terrible versions, of course. But you leave toys in the sandbox for you to pick up later and play with, and I think that they do this to their detriment.
R33S3M says, good morning, fellas, and chat. Merry Christmas. Go Birds. Do we think he's a fan of birds in general, or is this like an Eagles comment?
This is an Eagles thing, yeah.
Okay,
is
there
it
we go.
Birds? Is it? Do they call themselves just Birds? The Eagles fans?
I think so.
I think
really.
So.
That's the reason why the
like,
Eagles suck. God.
It's like Browns fans calling them Go Dogs.
The poor Browns.
And Merry Christmas to you, sir. I'm glad to be in the Christmas season. And obviously, the next time we get here We're going to be very, very close to Christmas. The kids start Christmas break on Tuesday, Perch.
Yes,
When do your kids get out?
Tuesday. Yeah.
Very nice. And then they don't come back until I think the 3rd. So we're going to have 2 weeks of hanging out with the kids and having a good time and eating lots of food and them being disappointed in presents. That's what I bring to the table. Eric O'Sullivan, Holy Ground Highlander. Even Connor McLeod respected Holy Ground in that movie, and he was the good guy. And Kruger was truly odious. The LCS needs to be this Holy Ground once again. I feel mine is.
Kurgan. I think you got auto-corrected, Eric. Kurgan is the villain in Highlander, not Kruger.
All right. So is it time to start treating the LCS as Holy Ground and maybe respecting these guys? And every time they say something that even ventures into actually identifying what the problems are, they just get shouted down. And that's where all this stuff started, Perch.
No, because then we have to listen to Ryan Higgins.
Well, we consider that a
He's
heretic.
douche.
Or you don't need to listen to Ryan Higgins. I mean, alternatively, it's a suggestion. You can just ignore that dumbass.
I'm starting a lot of shit this week, Perch.
Yes, he did.
By being an idiot.
I'm being flippant. Yeah, no, I know. I'm just some opinions are worth less than others. That would be an example of the less.
Oh, but that was my point. We can't treat it as hallowed ground because then by that we would have to then treat Ryan Higgins like he matters.
Hey, there's a lot of different denominations and churches out there. There's your big box churches, like we saw on the Miller show, and then there's your little rundown church shops.
Just because Ryan Higgins is an idiot doesn't mean that I want DC and Marvel to put him out of business anyway.
No, of course not. It's somebody.
I don't want anyone to go out of business.
Somebody's reminding us in the chat, or reminding me anyway. Yes, free speech is a thing, and I don't want to. You shouldn't be barred from saying shit, of course, but it also doesn't mean that we have to give him attention. A lot of this stuff, and especially when that attention has no merit. I mean, a lot of the comments that gets thrown around with all this, which is why the point I apparently made badly earlier, a bunch of dumb shit gets said. And we don't have to take that dumb shit as wise. Now, we may need to take it serious because the people who are saying it have influence in the industry and you have to adapt to that. But that taking it serious is very different from taking it as wisdom. This stuff isn't smart. When people talk about comic sales, skyrocketing over the last 3 years and they're throwing a bunch of stuff that have nothing to do with comics, everybody knows the game being played there. We don't have to treat that stuff as serious wisdom.
Very true. Lade says, Perch, could you review during the wind down of your channel? Could you do reviews of Ultimate Spider-Man 1 and Ultimate Black Panther 1?
Sure, why not?
I'm going to review one. I'm excited about those books.
Yeah, those books look good.
Although the reveals of what Killmonger and Storm look like with the Pichimoko art didn't look as good as the Caselli cover that they have.
Yeah.
So that was a little disappointing. But we got to see what the story is. I imagine Brian Hill's got something that he's bringing to the table, but there you go. He's going to do it. Federico De La Casa. Hi, guys. Middle-aged Italian guy. I don't have to read anymore. Middle-aged dude. Ain't nobody got to listen to you. not spending good comics, not like the past, but on you that keep the light on in my time preparing the barbecue. I'm seeing that from a lot of people, Perch, where they're just not spending the money that they used to.
Well, yeah. I mean, the challenge is when the price goes up and you break that habit, those are big dollar spends now. And 1 or 2 comics has a major impact when you're at $5, $10 a book. So you break that chain and you lose stuff, there's where you get.
Can you please tell your store maybe a month ahead of time? Maybe 2 months. Nice. That would be awesome.
I totally
y'all know. Say, you know what? I'm really thinking of only buying the Ultimates, and I want you to cut me off there. And then be like, all right, I can figure that out. That's easy.
You know what? I can't actually speak on this part because I did. I closed my pull list. I closed everything down. And I said, I told the shop, I said, whatever you already have ordered for me, let me know. I'll come in and buy it as it comes in. But, since they are ordering on my behalf for, at least 3 months out. So I did, I picked up the books and I actually had one come in a few weeks ago that was, it just apparently it took forever.
Holy cow.
It was Punchline 15. The Matthew Weldon Punchline.
Yeah.
That ended up like 6 months late. So all of a sudden 6 months later, they're telling me, oh, by the way, you have a book here. I'm like, well, fuck me. Okay, cool. And that was the first time I had even bothered to walk in the shop in like 2 months.
Yeah, I think, by the way, if anyone's struggling with this, it's because people have come up before and say, I'm enjoying a comic, it's on my pull list, and they change artists, and the new artist is a psychopath, or the writer, usually, not the artist. So, what do I do? Well, the answer is, don't put your money toward the psychopath. It's just going to make you feel bad. You did pre-order something from the store. So it's usually very easy to go and just have a conversation. If you like your LCS and your owner, you feel bad for them with what they're doing. It's very easy to just walk in there and go, hey, I don't want to buy this comic. I have an issue with it, or just I'm not going to buy it, and then buy something else. Buy a back issue. Make the money whole.
Yeah, exactly.
Your shop owner will be fine. The worst answer is that you take the stuff out of your pull box. And you're like, I think I'm just going to browse the store for a moment, and then very stereotypically, you just put those comics back on the shelf when the store owner's not looking. That's the dick move. Just be upfront with it.
Yeah, exactly. You can tell them I'm going to pass on this one. But buy something else. I mean, it's cool.
Yeah, they'll understand. Just don't surprise them with crap, and that's just a nice thing to do.
Well, it's like when you quit a job, you give your 2 weeks notice, and you're not going to show up those last couple days.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure.
That's fine. We can handle that. Okay, as long as you're not a whale.
He also says,
Go ahead.
If Thinking Critical was a comic, you could sell millions of comics revealing Perch's secret identity. Imagine revealing even Doc. It'd be like printing money. So, Aaron, if we were to do a comic book together and this was the big selling point, I don't think we would get $1 million for that.
No.
You don't think so?
Puppies.
No.
Perch's identity? He's the old white guy.
Maybe like 300 max, I think.
No, see, what you guys don't realize is that Perch is just way too handsome to be on camera. Even if Max was on, he would just throw off the curve.
You know who apparently is very, very handsome? Is Jim. He said when he was in his 20s, he looked like Andre Agassi when he was doing those Canon commercials.
Yeah, but he was balding. That's so, I don't know.
Yeah, but when he was in his 30s. I'm talking about when he had the long hair in the Canon commercials.
Yeah, okay.
And before he just started wearing the hat to hide the fact that he wore a rug.
That's what Jim looks like.
Yeah.
Did he just tell you this? Or have you seen evidence of this?
Jim is anything if not a very honest man.
But he has had a lot of head trauma from printers being thrown at his head. So he might not be reliable.
I'm just telling you, apparently he's just like the super handsome dude that looks like Andre Agassi, aging gracefully with Steffi Graf now. According to Jim.
So people won't listen to his words; they'll just be like captivated by his.
That's
beauty.
why he won't put himself on the.
It's a smart move. I understand that.
Like,
I don't understand that. Is what I'm saying.
Thrown off by his face, they wouldn't be able to listen to him anymore. Apparently, he's beautiful. That's what Jim said.
That's why his wife hasn't actually killed him yet.
What a world!
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, now the meme is that Jim is too beautiful for this world.
Yes. Barely. Calum says. Cancel pigs is kind of true. Wade is one. Dan Slott and CV look like pigs. Heather Ontos and the Karens are pigs.
My goodness.
Yeah,
That's a big pig. That's a pig umbrella.
Listen, all I'm going to say is this. The names that Aaron listed earlier, racist, homophobe, Nazi, all the shit, we've all been called that. Maybe not Yule, but we've been called that. So the fact that you're getting called a cancel pig for trying to name people as this and mark people as this, fucking get over it.
I agree. Yeah.
Count yourself lucky that's the worst that we're doing.
Well, I'd like to try and follow what Superman maybe would do, and kind of go above.
You would murder him for.
It's Superman.
Elseworld stories don't count.
Put him into the Phantom Zone.
Red Kryptonite Superman with you.
My only comment to that would be for the past 10 plus years. We have taken that higher road in terms of not calling people these names and trying to just say like, hey, we don't agree with this. We don't like this because,
There's plenty of people been called SJW this and that and woke.
Yeah,
this and
it
that.
depends.
there is that.
It's a
warrior.
it's an evolution of a term.
But look,
Well,
I
they took
think-
it as a badge of honor, though. Of course, you know who else is a social justice warrior? Superman. You know, like
That's
that's
right.
the kind of, you know. So
Yeah.
this is like they can't go. You know who else is a cancel pig? Superman. It doesn't work. It
Professor
doesn't work.
Pig.
And
Better
you'll
not
maybe
call
nobody's called you those things, but you know that just by being friendly with us, you are all of those things adjacent.
for
You know what?
sure. I'm
I'm not in any of the I didn't move on over to Blue Sky. I can't. Oh, I'm so sick of social media.
No, but this is so. As I kind of referred to earlier, I had a lot of texts, and calls of people this week going, you know, this term is really offensive. This is really gross. Like, why is this? I wish he wouldn't do this. Why is Mark doing this? Why is this name getting out? And this point I was making earlier, like, yeah, it sounds like a childish name, but it's what led to this. Like, it didn't just pop up, like mysteriously, didn't just wake up this morning and then suddenly somebody's calling you a cancel pit. Like where. Look at the actions that led to this state. This is the end state. There were years before this of shit.
To the members of the comic industry that don't like the cancel pig term, I understand that it might hurt your delicate little feelings. Suck my dick. There. Suck my dick.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Doc is offering an olive branch.
We're moving on.
I am.
That's my day.
You're offering a branch. Come on.
I know.
Fleshy olive branch.
Whatever. Callum says Jim Lee is taking selfies of sandwiches. Well, if that's a crime, you're gonna have to put my wife in jail. She loves Instagram.
He's trying to recruit CB. Just give it a break.
Well, you better be using fucking sushi then.
Well,
Nero fiddles while Rome burns.
And then Cal finally says, Roro's not his wife again, is she? I was hoping Monica Lynn would be. And I am under the impression that they are a couple. I'm not sure if they're married.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Killmonger and Storm.
No, I believe. Oh, yeah. Killmonger and Storm, yes.
In the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah.
They're a couple. I don't think they're married.
They're like freedom fighters or something.
They're friends with benefits. Yeah.
Although, in fairness, and I do want to apologize for my own let's say harsh initial response to it. With the art, Killmonger looked like a chick, and I'm like, oh, congratulations. You just
there's a weird thing where the top stops and it kind of creates an effect where it looked like he might have had boobs. Yeah,
it looked like they gave Killmonger the Exiles Valkyrie treatment, where it just looks like a really butch chick. And so I did initially have a gut reaction because, well, that's Marvel's literal go-to approach at this point.
What was worse, that what you thought that was, or that John Cassidy X-Force cover?
Oh, the John Cassidy X-Force cover was monumentally worse.
Also, might I add in, who wouldn't want boobs? Everybody loves boobs.
Yeah. I mean,
I got a story about that, but I'm still traumatized this week.
I mean, in my hand, it's not on me. What are you talking about?
Yes.
I'll get to it some other time.
Look, if men had breasts, we'd never leave the house. That's why we don't. So that it can actually work.
A horrifying world we're talking about.
Did we talk yet about Gail Simone praising Mark Waid, known misogynist, saying meeting him was one of the best things to happen to her?
Why
not? Yeah.
Is he? I don't know. I don't know if
there's plenty of stories kind of about that.
About a misogyny? I mean, he may. Yeah. I mean, I know he's dated people that have gotten into the industry, they're pilloried for that.
He's threatened some female comic book, some female, and some female business partners. There's stories out there about
but I mean, is it that or is it business? I mean,
well, there's also this. There's also the story out there about the way that Mark Waid breaks up with you is that he waits for you to go. He doesn't address it. He waits for you to go to work, and then he moves all his stuff out during the day, and you come home to an empty house.
I mean, that's your Irish goodbye. What are you going to do?
I've had some breakups where that would have been really awesome.
I have two, but it's mostly girls that I'm pretty sure would stab me.
I will say this: if the biggest moment of your life is meeting Mark Waid, or it's in the top 5. Go live a better life. There's got to be something more out there than just.
Well, I mean, maybe he.
Unless you married him, I guess.
he got in her way as like a bus was like, you know,
Oh,
down
well,
the
that
street,
could be the
you
best
know.
thing.
It's like, you
Yeah.
know, that was a really
Could've
good
saved your
moment
life.
in my life, you know.
He recommended the breadsticks.
There you go. These are the best.
The Garth Knight Rises Uber B Man. The comic book internet hall monitors don't like being compared to salty bacon. Too bad.
Yeah, I still feel bad for the bacon. I don't know. I feel this entire thing. The puzzling part for me was always the irritation, the confusion. The people like, I don't understand why we're being called this, and that's there's a level of cognitive dissonance.
Right.
It just was why, and then why reach out to me? For fuck's sake, you got more important people to talk to.
You know what?
You're an influencer, Perch.
Yeah, yes.
The one thing I will say is bacon is a lot less toxic than the folks in the comic industry. So that's why I don't necessarily like the
I like
comparison.
it. That's all I say.
Points on Evil Hasselhoff though. I gotta give it up to Garth.
HH, the guys from Civic Comics, shout out from Big Apple Cod. Keep attacking diners for not liking your food, and you'll go bust. Forget Big Two, go indie. Here comes Calico, number 8, live on Kickstarter. Help spread the word. You too, Perch. Absolutely. Congratulations on the year that was and being in your backyard in New York. HH is a New York guy through and through, Perch.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I've met him at shows a few times, and he remembers me, which means I have a memorable ugly face. So anyway, good guy.
Well, and it's nice to see somebody out there on the grind trying to sell comic books every single week rather than going out there and trying to make some type of statement.
That guy was hustling in Dallas, and they gave him a shit spot on the floor.
He still made it work, didn't he?
And he still made it work, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing about HH. He does not know when to quit. That dude is awesome. Beast for comics. Imagine Doc as the DC Comics editor. Problem solved. Doc hates DC Comics.
Yeah, not DC.
Yeah.
Let's turn all the DC heroes into Marvel heroes. That'll be fun.
Yeah,
well, I just done that.
All these Green Lanterns are lame. Fuck this comic.
The next new age of heroes.
That's all he knows.
Let's recreate Marvel heroes in the DC universe.
In fairness, that's all that Marvel's done over the last 20 years. Is try to turn their fucking characters into DC characters, and they wonder why people stop reading.
It's okay. There's you can just, instead of Green Lantern, you think Nova Corps. All right, now go with it. You know.
Yeah, no, there's only one Nova as far as I'm concerned too. All the rest of them are fake.
Can DC do that?
Very nice. Tommy reviews. Hail, Comics Aficionados. I just got my Decepticon Kaiju Sos, a chicken Deathosaurus from HasLab. I also managed to get a HasLab Unicron for a good price. I missed out on him, but backed versus when they released it. Hail. Is that good news, Aaron? You're the toy guy.
I regret not getting that Unicron. It's a HasLab that I didn't back because I was like, where am I going to put it? And man, I regret.
That's a problem you solve later.
Yeah, well, kudos to you, Tommy, for picking that up and getting it at a good price. I'm not going to pay like $2,000 for it, Wes. There's just no way.
Oh, come on, you only live once.
Yeah, and I got to eat.
You don't pay $2,000 for a Unicron and put it in my house because it'll be broken in 5 minutes.
Right, but for me, it would just be another thing back here. Like, what am I what am I going to do? Have Unicron fighting the Sentinel, fighting Galactus, fighting the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, fighting Godzilla.
Bad. The Unicron would look pretty cool, though.
It would look pretty great. No, I would love to get a Unicron at some point.
Dave K says the stories about Mark are confirmed, including mocking a woman he cheated on his wife with, who was murdered by her husband with a hammer. That's why Karen Berger fired him from DC.
That's a very tangled story.
All I know,
that's not all the same stuff.
There's a lot more. It doesn't make him look better, by the way, but there's a lot more to the story.
The only thing I will say on it is I support Bob Harris.
Yeah, you don't say that very often.
No.
This is a story of the guy who had the hammer. I mean, my favorite part of the story actually had nothing to do with Mark. It's the fact that he went to prison for murder, and DC was still trying to figure out ways to work with him in jail.
They're still trying to hire him?
Yeah.
We want you to sketch this book out one panel at a time and sneak it out.
Oh my god!
On toilet paper.
There's a couple of people. I've done a video on this. A couple people have this little bit of history is just batshit crazy comic stuff.
Isn't Mark one of the guys that wrote a letter of defense for the writer that got busted with all that child porn?
Gerard Jones?
Gerard Jones, yes.
Yeah, that's a different thing. Yeah.
Really? Well, there you go.
I really don't want to see Mark's computer.
Yeah. Common sense. Why this video is titled Superman Writer. Don't throw Williamson and PKJ under the bus. Perch, if you see PKJ, ask him what he was thinking about Nora reveal. He's a known Superman writer. That's why I put it in there.
Yeah.
Because it would have been easier than Batman Superman writer.
Yeah. I
wasn't trying to say anything about
I
Williamson
think
or PKJ.
I'll talk to Johnson soon. I'll be happy to.
What happened with Action Comics? Because these last 2 issues, something feels wrong, Perch. Did you notice?
Yeah. There's stuff going on.
There's clearly something going on because that book had been really, really great for like 2.5 years.
Yeah. No, yeah.
It feels like they made him wrap everything up in record time, and there just wasn't like he's trying to get it done.
Well, they're finishing it in an annual also. So
yeah.
I think you're right.
I think there's more to there's more that's gonna come out of this in positive ways.
Well, I hope so, because I've really been enjoying that Action Comics run. These last 2 issues I haven't been able to recommend because they're just a little weird.
Yeah, no, I think there'll be more to enjoy there.
Yeah, very much. And Mad Max Pliskin, thank you very much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. If you have a question, let us know. But that should be able to get us to this Mark Waid thing. We have been talking about this, and perhaps I went a little bit overboard, Perch, but I felt like this was the last straw, saying that you want to see comic books burn rather than talking to someone like Mark Millar because you consider him alt-right now, because he went out there and defended somebody that was being bullied, went out there and offered suggestions to Marvel and DC that would absolutely help out their line and get better creators in there, and then talk to retailers about what was going on there. And then somebody put a collage of tweets that didn't even relate to each other, trying to paint a bad picture of Mark Millar, and the dude just went fucking crazy.
Oh, not somebody, Ryan Higgins, who we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
he put together the collage of tweets.
Stirred it up, and some others. There was during this last 2 weeks, there was, as I mentioned, a lot of kind of chat text messages. There was a lot of, it comes in waves, at least for me, where people will send me what feels like the form letter that they're given of the, have you seen these tweets kind of stuff. You might want to distance yourself kind of bullshit. I'm not sure why they're bothering with me, but anyway, it was he's trying out to be the next Seth Rollins. What can I say?
Burn it down.
There you go.
Interesting enough, Ryan Higgins is the other guy within the last couple of weeks that also called for the industry to be burnt down if it can't be exactly the way that he wants it.
No, it's childish. I mean, I understand people, it's already a chatter like, it's not childish, it's war. I understand, but this is my point here, is this is what a 2-year-old would do. For everyone who's had children and the kid gets bored with the toys or doesn't like the way it's working within the friend group and just starts throwing shit and breaking it. That's what this is. You call it what it is. This is pathetic child stuff.
Well, the one thing is, though, as a retailer, and I know not all of us get out as well Perch. One of our ways out is to say, if it just would burn down, everything will be okay. If all my books sold, everything in my store just burnt. No loss of life, please. Of course,
that's a different thing. But I'm with you. That's an insurance money play right there.
It's so funny though that that's the first thing that comic creators, comic store owners talking about the industry. They just go straight to. I think Mark Waid's owned a store, been involved in a store. We were just talking about that, right? Burning things down is a viable way to get out of the situation you're in. At least to some people.
In fairness, burning Mark Waid is also a good way out of the situation.
See, there you go.
Well, what would he do if the comics industry burned to the ground? He doesn't have enough fan goodwill to launch his own.
But he doesn't need anything. That's the problem. When people come out and say, I mean, who? Oh, you mean the guy who's like involved with all the stuff that everybody always talks about and he'll be okay. Other stores that have a lot of money and aren't really selling comics other than, certain things, they're going to do okay if they have, that stuff set up.
No, I'm not even talking.
So it's easy to, okay, go for it.
I'm saying if he doesn't have the attention, if he doesn't have the notoriety, that's all he has.
there's some platform people. I don't know. Does his writing comics get the people that give a shit what he has to say?
He's got enough sycophants in his chats. He shuts down his
but
chats.
He doesn't need to read comics or write comics anymore to still have those sycophants. Is what I'm saying. I mean, they're going to get old, and he's going to get a new crowd. I mean,
it would dwindle away. I mean,
it would.
The thing is, it's all performative. I mean, I hope, does anybody here honestly believe that, Waid is saying this stuff again like a child with a tantrum? Does he actually want all the comics to disappear? He does not, for the reasons you're saying. He still wants that attention, that and all the rest. And maybe the most disappointing thing about it is he's crawled his way back up to doing a lot of work over the last year. That's getting a lot of positive press. I mean, I've seen people who absolutely hated the guy 5 years ago show up and go, well, you got to admit though, that comic is pretty good that he's writing. It's one of the better DC books. You're seeing a lot of very positive comments come out from Waid. So the backslide to, hey, now I'm pissed off and burn it down, and guaranteed, based on what he said after and some of the follow-up kind of retractions, if you will, he didn't go all the way there, but he understands that he raged out and did this. Doesn't make it good, but it's a 2-year-old. He doesn't actually want to burn down. Anybody who says this doesn't actually want everything to explode and die. They're just being a child.
Mark thinks, well, first of all, Mark tried to, he got a little bit of, I guess you could say, humility when he was basically booted out of everywhere, and he had to go and do, what was it, Irredeemable and that other one for Boom.
Incorruptible. I was at Boom at the time.
Yeah. So that was his, getting humbled. And he's built himself back up in the minds of people, in the minds of the readership, and in the minds of editorial. But Mark will never stop being a piece of shit. He's able to control it for short periods of times, but he will always let his,
nobody wants to take lithium all the time, Doc.
I understand that. He reverts to type. He will always revert to type. And anytime he thinks that he's, I guess, safe enough career-wise, he will 100% revert to type. So you're left with kind of a catch-22 with somebody like Mark. You can either accept the fact that he's going to be the piece of shit that he is, or you can keep him humble by never letting him actually have success again. Because otherwise, this is the cycle Mark will end up in for the rest of his life until the world gets better when he is gone.
Well, him accusing Mark Millar of grasping for relevance when Mark Millar is sitting, number one, Mark Millar is sitting on a pile of money. He has that sweetheart deal with Netflix. He's doing fine. He doesn't need to do anything in comics ever again, and he'd be fine. So Mark saying that is, it's one of those things where it's like you're projecting, because Mark is barely relevant at this point. Yeah, he's got a couple of good books that people are talking about, but they're not like burning sales charts down. And guys like us are the only ones that are talking about him. Second, one of the reasons that Mark went to Boom was because he thought he was going to be able to get some Hollywood deals through Boom. That's why he wrote like Potter's Field and some of those other books that he wrote that I can't recall right now, but they were just basically like movie pitches, which is what Boom does. They take, old slush scripts and they turn them into comic books so that they can be presented as storyboards and hopefully get a movie deal. And so he thought that was going to happen for him. He already didn't like Mark Millar. He told me that Insufferable, which was originally going to be the third I book at Boom, he told me that the Insufferable sidekick in that was based on Mark Millar. So he already didn't like him. And then Mark Millar gets the sweetheart deal that Waid was trying to get, years before, and becomes this huge success. It's just going to fuel the jealousy. It's going to fuel the pettiness. It's going to fuel all the worst parts of his personality. He really should go get some therapy. When he started talking about Mark's emotional maturity, I was like, you are the last person on the face of the planet to lecture anybody about emotional maturity. You throw tantrums constantly. It's well documented. So, and I've defended good things that I've seen Mark do on this channel before. But I'm with Wes. I'm at the point where I'm done. I'm just absolutely done with this guy. Either go get some therapy, get some anger management, get over your little petty chips on your shoulder, from when you were a child and you got picked on or whatever it was that, you're carrying around. You're an adult. You're like what, in your 60s now? Come on, man.
Well, that's just it. I mean, it's not this situation. There's a lot of complicated things in comics. This one is not really complicated. It's a mix of a lot of insecurity, child behavior, and absolutely a lot of jealousy. Exactly like you mentioned. He's made many comments to this effect. But the other kind of screwed up part of all this is, it started the week with a lot of people with text messages saying, I wish Mark Millar would shut up. Why is he doing this? From a lot of comic pros. At the end of the week, it was a lot of the same people going, I also wish the other Mark would shut up. Even they recognize that this stuff raging out like this is just shitty. But it's a shame. The big shame for him is he did start to gain a lot of kind of goodwill in the hearts of people who were pretty turned on him. And so with just a couple sentences, he fucked it all up, which is amazing.
Well, all you got to do is just recognize who people are.
Sure.
And never give them, like, you give people the opportunity to redeem themselves. I've never liked Mark Millar or Mark Waid. I literally never. I have 15,000 comics in my collection. I have 3 comics written by Mark Waid. 3
X-Men crossovers.
Yes, it was it was the couple issues he did around Age of Apocalypse. I think he did like 50 and 51, and then he did X-Men Alpha. So those are the only comics that I own by him. I have never thought he was competent. I've always considered him the canary in the coal mine to whichever company. Any company dumb enough to hire him is the one that's about to or in the process of going into the shitter. That's who he is.
He's doing, and somebody asked in the chat, but he's doing decent sales. Somebody said 35,000. From what I've seen, it's 50 to 60, and from many of the titles. So I mean, but he puts in modest numbers, but the industry's also. I mean, the other thing is the industry shrunk, and so now we've got these people who are behaving like this, fighting over tiny numbers. I mean, that's the stupid part of all this, that we even put up with it because we're at this state.
But I guess my point here, though, is once somebody demonstrates repeatedly who they are, who they will always be, and the type of person that they will always revert to, stop giving them the opportunity. Stop.
I don't need my comic writers to be saints. I just don't need them to be insufferable douchebags.
Well, the thing is, you can watch Mark Waid and in his entire career and always revert back to being an insufferable douchebag.
That's true.
So stop giving him a 7th chance.
Oh, I wanted to.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It is. Like I do think that action should have consequences. And if you repeatedly show yourself to be unable to control what it is you do, I mean, you'll take it from a completely different angle. He has art teams, colorists, pencilers, others that work with him on his books. A lot of those people could give no shits about this entire controversy, or don't know it exists, or if anything, wish Mark would shut up. They don't want the industry to burn down. But there are going to be people who will drop books, who will just think twice, who will be frustrated. And certainly it's fair for that to hit Mark because he said the words. But now you got all these other people on that book that are drug around with this crap. And that's if you're a publisher, why would you keep injecting that into your company? You're not just making a choice on the individual. You're making a choice for the entire creative team. And that's not fair.
Dave Mora might be the future of DC Comics as like their premier artist in the not too distant future.
He's a great guy. Do you think he wants any of this shit? I guarantee you he does not. Yeah.
One of the few people in the industry, Perch, that can put out 2 mainline books and actually keep up with the work.
Yeah. I mean, he does. I guarantee you, and he does not want any of this. He doesn't think about it. He doesn't like it. And all this is annoyance. And what you are going to see is you're going to see more creators like artists saying, I will pass and do a different book.
Yeah, because I don't want to work with this guy
Well,
that has a chance of blowing up and damaging my ability to earn.
Sure, it's and you're seeing a little bit of this starting to happen. This is going to happen more, where the creator's like, look, whether I agree with you or don't agree with you, I'm smart enough to keep my mouth shut because I want the commentary on social media to be about what Superman's doing or how cool is this villain or whatever else, and I don't want the issue to come out and the only thing people are talking about is some dumbass thing posted on Facebook.
Right.
Yeah, people should be talking about, he started his Kingdom Come story where they're revisiting that. Batman Superman World's Finest.
It's so stupid. And somebody said they didn't agree with me. It's good for this stuff to come out. I understand that perspective. It's just all of us. I mean, all of you feel like this is like, why the fuck are we here? Don't you get that feeling from time to time? Like, how in the world is this 2023 and we're still dealing with this shit?
Agreed.
If I could go back to us knowing nothing
there's
about
something wrong,
comic
and
creators.
we're not talking about like how to fix it. We're talking about what an asshole Mark Waid is, and some people, I guess, are talking about how they don't like Mark Millar now.
Yeah. By the way, Comic-Con to the chat is not an effective place to get numbers. You need to get them from editors or people at the company at this point.
Yeah, had someone reach out to me about the like Ice EV2 like 2022 numbers. I was like, what? There's nothing to glean there. Everything is a complete guess at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every day that you move past when the model was created without actually having real data to compare it to, it gets more and more flawed.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. That is how. And the numbers, if you're a statistician looking at some of this stuff, it will make you insane. I've got a very good friend who's an accountant who does this kind of financial modeling and everything else. They look at the comic numbers and it's just laughable right now.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing. Let's hear from the peoples. We do have some people checking in. This is what Mad Max Pliskin wanted to talk about. Do you know when the Miller World read will start? Yes, I do. It's going to start the very first week of January. We're going to start doing the Miller World from beginning to end. It's going to take us a couple of years on the Patreon, starting with Wanted #1 all the way up to Big Game #5. We're really excited about that. We're also going to do a planetary read-through going on at the same time, and then we'll transition to some other comic books. But definitely excited for that one. Dave K., some of my friends worked for Hasbro before the layoffs. I'd love to chat with Aaron Sparrow about some of the toy stuff. Is there any way to get in touch?
Yeah, or if you're on Twitter or Instagram, just send me a message, and we'll start the convo from there.
Hey Wes, I got a question for you regarding the Miller World read.
Mm-hmm.
Are you planning to do some of the like his little more like obscure stuff, some of the stuff that doesn't necessarily connect with,
You mean like Chosen?
like Chosen, American Jesus, that whole
I'm
American
doing
Jesus?
His Mill World graphic that said Mill World reading order, and it had the arrow that ends with the big game and starts with Wanted. And American Jesus is certainly in there, and so is Empress and a lot of more obscure things that he's done. But I do not believe everything is in there.
Okay,
I think
I was curious, like
what
especially
I'm gonna
some of
use.
like the Miller World, like phase 1, whenever he was still at Marvel and he started doing like Kick-Ass was an
Those are all
icon,
coming
and,
over, baby.
Yeah, and so
and
is
the
Empress.
Unfunnies, and you know,
no one's reading the Unfunnies.
I don't think the Unfunnies was in there. No, but it will have a lot of major.
It's such a true title.
Yeah.
books.
Get in
So
there
it's
with
not-
Trouble. You gotta. I mean, I know it's not Miller
Oof.
World. You gotta go through. I went through Trouble. It was one of the happiest moments.
No one has to ever do that again.
It's
Should.
so,
horny Aunt May.
when I
the comic
interviewed
book
Mark.
guild stuff is supposed to be great comic books that we think everyone should be aware of.
Trouble you need to be aware of.
Well, you need to be
That's-
aware of it. If you come across it, run.
You missed a great part though.
I interviewed Mark, and he said, I said, tell us about Trouble, and he's like, I have no memory of that comic. I don't know what you're talking about. And it took me like a good after. It was like a good hour later. I'm like, he was full of shit right there. He absolutely knew.
We just didn't want to talk about it.
He memory hold it for himself.
It was work for hire, Perch. They gave me the pitch and I wrote it. What do you want?
I mean,
That's
look,
what-
I mean, think about it a different way. Like you get a job at Marvel, and it's like, hey, what do you want to do? And like at this current state in the industry, who wouldn't want to write horny AMA and just I mean, fuck it, why not?
Top reviews versus is Victory Saber and Kaiju Space Chicken. LOL. Also finished reading my Planetary Omnibus. I would much prefer a movie on that instead of The Authority.
I think
Okay.
I think Planetary would make Honestly, I think it would make a better mini series or like
Streaming show.
television streaming show
program.
Yeah, because every issue is so tonally different. It'd be hard to make that work in a film.
Yeah, something they should do like those, like a British, hour and a half television show, that style.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like, honestly, kind of like what they were going to do with the global frequency pilot. If anybody remembers that.
Yeah.
I think Yoel's referring to like Sherlock, like what they did with BBC.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean,
Three episodes per
Midsummer, it doesn't matter. 6 episodes, hour and a half, and done. Season done.
Cal Niles says, Higgins blocked me for showing his evidence of what cancel pigs have done and why 7 years later Waid is still obsessed with 2016.
Well, this is no different than a long time ago, right, Perch? Okay, yeah. Yeah, you
No different.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the same stuff.
Wade's not a guy who can let go.
It's not just 2016 is what I'm saying. I'm sure there's like,
oh no.
And possibly, isn't this like the time when everybody gets all butthurt and comes out and says stupid stuff? I bet like last year when all the trouble was happening was probably around this time too.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
It always flares up around the Christmas time.
It does. The late November, like people get done with Thanksgiving and then just go off to go jerk off on the internet, and that lasts till about a couple days before Christmas. And you got a bunch of things. You've got rumors that DC is about to be sold to Universal. You've got contracts getting shorter. You have a lot of reasons to wind this up. And yeah, Mark coming in, who has money and can give no fucks about some of this stuff. That the last thing they want him doing is talking to the plebes, in the audience who don't have the names and are outside the gate. I mean, that breaks the whole system down. So of course it's going to wind up everybody. And yes, elections are coming too, which doesn't help.
Yeah, and when the holidays come, you see people like this who are sad, and they lash out.
I imagine it's probably easy to get blocked by Ryan Higgins right now. I'm sure a lot of people are saying stuff to him.
Well, and people are going out, and I mean, there's a little bit of a feeling of go out in a blaze of glory to some extent for some of these people who do see that, Twitter has changed, and there's just like already a lot of these people are not restrained in what they were doing, and now, I mean, fuck it, why not just go nuts, be your worst self?
Now they're just completely unhinged.
Yeah,
and he says because when people say alt-right, I know they're still obsessed with Trump.
Yeah, although I think it's broadened than that, hasn't it? I mean, Trump is a factor, but now it's a catch-all term for like people I don't like. It is truly.
Romney was alt-right until now, and before him it was somebody else,
Yeah, and here's the thing. Look, I mean, I long ago realized, what they mean by when they say alt-right is literally anyone even 1 inch further to the right than Mao. That's what it is, because most of them are the best way you could describe them is Maoists.
Yeah, I would suggest like saying that then is the same thing, but
Well, no, I mean it's the same tactic.
I mean, we again, if we're gonna be better than them, whoever we is.
Oh no, I stopped wanting to be better.
Well, yes,
because
Doc is the kind of person you put in the front, and you're gonna get all angry and
called a berserker back in the Viking days.
Look, it's pretty simple because most of them have taken that Saul Alinsky, make your enemy live by their own rules. Fine, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna use it right back. I'm gonna make them live by their own rules, and hoist on their own fucking petard.
All right.
Look,
eye.
That's stop being these little weak-willed. Well, we have to be nice. We have to be better. No, that's you can keep saying that.
That
until
doesn't mean you have to
camps.
be nice.
You win the fight because it's the righteous fight, and then show mercy. That's the way that you do it.
Or just forget these. Like you there's another option besides just show mercy. You can also just kind of dump them into kind of the void of history and make them irrelevant.
That's also fair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Joe Black.
We're already talking about comic books.
Yeah.
Perch.
I'm not in a forgive and forget. You know, people misstate me a lot. I'm not a forgive and forget kind of guy. It's forgive is tough and forget is never. So I think you don't have to go. You don't constantly be at war, but you know, forgiveness. No, I think you know, isolation and banishment is the right answer half the time.
See, Perch, we need a face reveal now so we can put you on the on Lance Henriksen from the movie Stone Cold.
There you
go.
And
where it's like, you know, God forgives, the Brotherhood don't.
I'm in favor of isolating them somewhere on the surface of the sun.
Give it let's have this comic publisher that can just create whatever batshit crazy things people want, and they can be the way they want and act the way they want and everything else, and they can have their fun little party and just put it all there.
Comet says, I was tempted to buy Mark Waid comics again, but Waid goes in and joins the dog pile on Jason Pearson. Despite being friends, I thought Waid was some asshole. Yeah, the Jason Pearson thing was sad.
Yeah, I think that you know, in my opinion, he contributed greatly to what eventually happened with Jason. And
well, I don't know about. So it probably didn't help.
Yeah, that was shitty. That was in fairness, what's being discussed here, I think is shittier than the burn it down. And the burn down is a child lashing out. The stuff about Jason, I think, was absolutely offensive and over the line. To me, they're not the same.
This is where Jason was talking about performers in the comic book industry and how they kind of suck, and how guys like him aren't getting jobs when, you know, they're just sitting at home, kind of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it was an absolute dog pile, and it was absolutely shitty. It's the same kind of thing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that Tom King has done. The stuff with Jay Lee was by far that was a personal cut, and that shows more of this asshole character. So.
Yeah. Dave K says
like
the comic scene in France outside of DC and Marvel is huge with amazing art. Look up the Rageaholics video on Bandes Dessinées when you can. Is that true, Perch? Is comic book still huge in France?
Oh yeah. I mean, European has a good scene for sure. I mean, I don't know about huge is relative, but yeah, I think I posted something like a month ago. I was in Zurich, and there was a comic shop there, and I used to love this place because they had all the European books. They also had some U.S. Marvel stuff and everything else. And the U.S. stuff is gone. Manga has taken its space, but the European stuff is alive and doing well. And there's awesome original art and everything else. It's good stuff. There's great European comics.
But, you know, this is America, and American things not selling in France. You know, it's not Jerry Lewis, so who cares?
It used to.
French stuff isn't going to come over here and do that great either, you know?
Well, we said the same thing about manga.
Please, name something French, Doc, and tell me when you're going to buy it.
French toast.
No. Bic lighters. Yeah, razors and lighters are about the only thing that I give a shit about what France exports. You know,
I think Doc is
overly
representative
expensive
of our
cheese.
comic book scene.
I a little bit, yeah. I mean, look, I am
in a college town for this shit.
I am absolutely the quintessential ugly American, and I have no.
Tell me the last time you read a Tintin. A Tintin.
Come on now. You go Monera.
Oh, what? Oh, I can't say the classic
I like
thing.
Tintin.
It's like
Tintin
Watchmen.
Tons of money, but Doc is not.
Weren't those Sumerian comics French?
Yeah, he's not a Tintin guy, and he never would be.
No,
I never would be.
Tintin.
Do you like soccer?
Was the Meta Barons? Was the Meta Barons book from France?
Yes.
No, there you go.
Yeah.
I thought the Sumerian comics from Ablaze were translated from French.
Europe. But anyway, a lot of the
right.
quality. Check it. Before the channel winds down, I'm going to be doing a ton on European comics because there's some stuff to discover there. There's some really.
That'll be the way to end your channel, Perch. If you want people to stop watching, talk about European
that's
comics.
my point.
There you go.
What are you, cartoonist kayfabe or something? Who cares? Please.
Yeah, more personality though.
Yeah, Perch actually reads the book. Perch actually reads the book. He doesn't just glance through a couple pages and then tap some panels.
Yeah.
Gallup says, just some guy said it better. He used to think he was this white knight to save people. I don't know if he's racist or just too stupid to know. I imagine he's talking about Mark Waid.
If you want to look, I'm not going to say too much, but with that comment, Callum, I'm just going to say that when I launch Kneel Before Doomface, you're going to want to pick it up. I just remember that I said that with this comment.
There you go. I do think Mark thinks of himself as like the White Knight or whatever, and doesn't. Do you think he, at this point, Perch, that he's realized he made a mistake? Because he did almost try to apologize and walk back.
Yeah, I mean, I know for a fact a number of people messaged him directly and said, "Hey, shut the fuck up! What are you doing?" So I don't know that if it's a I realized I made a mistake, or a bunch of people who are in my close circle are telling me to shut up. I probably more the second one, but yeah, I mean, there's people absolutely reached out and said, "Hey, you got to stop. What are you doing?"
I realized that Ryan Higgins played me like a fiddle.
Who knows? I guarantee you they're still chummy.
He also says, on what Perch said about artists, Mark Brooks won't. He's too psychotic to learn how to keep his mouth shut. He doesn't really do interiors anymore.
Yeah, there's people, but because he makes money off exteriors to his heart's content. But I mean, this is there's some people in comics, and it's by and large an introvert type industry in a lot of ways. So it's not maybe surprising that you've got people who are socially inept. And that's probably the most generous way that I could possibly say it.
It's kind of like the comic book industry entirely, like all the way through.
It's almost like I really think we need to start shoving nerds back in locker.
From the fan all the way to the comic book company, like all the way through. It's, I mean, only recently have it been people that are acceptable to be involved in comics. But until that time happened, it's always been this way. Don't you think?
Great.
I mean, seriously, Perch. Fucking nutbags in comics.
I do. No, it has. That's why it would be fun to do with generations. None of this is to excuse current behavior. And it's these kinds of statements I make that always make the live streams and people misinterpret it. But this isn't a new story. People have been crazy and petty and shitty.
There were fucking comic book creators that blew their fucking brains out. We don't even have that right now.
Absolutely.
And it does, again, support my theory that we need to bully these people.
Well,
we do. They need to be shoved in lockers.
I think it's still going on. It's just a different.
I just don't think that works, man. I don't say that.
This is how Doc lives his life, Perch.
Yeah.
Do not be the victim. Be the victimizer.
I agree with you. If somebody hates you for no reason, you give that asshole a reason. I can appreciate that. But I'm not saying it. I don't think that works. And when I say that, I don't mean because we need to be nice, cherubs here, but I just don't think it works. I think we've seen the bully back, and it's time for more dramatic action. Put it that way. We're all going to start a fund here. We're going to go buy one of these companies. And then we're just going to make some money off of it. And then we're going to go buy another one. We're just going to swallow this up through cash. How about that?
Let's make a comics island that none of these people can touch.
And then whenever, Mark Waid wants a job, he has to subject himself to daily swirlies from me.
All right. Moment's over.
Oh, man.
It's actually time to move on. F7 says, I'm an equal opportunity hater. I dislike both Waid and Miller. There you go. Or he went the full Doc route. He hates everybody.
Well, dislike. That's hard. That's pretty tepid.
I love Mark
equal
Millar.
Opportunity hater.
Well, I know, but then he goes right into that. So, I mean,
There you go. You could have hated harder on that, right there, X7. You could have said something much.
It should have been a $10, and I would believe you. That's what I'm saying.
Hate everybody, and no one will let you down, right?
Correct.
Grateful Dog. Favorite cross-gen title? Mine is Way of the Rat.
That's the one. Although El Cazador, the first 3 issues, the only 3 issues were really good too.
I think I only bought literally 2 cross-gen comics. I'm a superhero guy, and they didn't have much superhero stuff.
Not really.
I read Way of the Rat, and I read Sojourn, and then I read whatever title Lepresti came on, but I don't. It's been so long since I thought about cross-gen, I can't remember them all. Which is weird because you ask me about the Ultraverse, and I can rattle stuff off like nobody's business.
Really?
Yeah.
We should talk about Mantra someday.
Yeah, let's talk about Mantra. Let's talk about.
That was weird.
Yeah,
crazy gender bending stuff.
All right, Perch, you've had enough time to Google it. What's your favorite cross-gen title?
No, way the rat. I'm sitting here Googling. This is I didn't care much for cross-gen.
Yeah, me either.
For what it's worth. Didn't hate the people. There's some good people there. I did like the business model. I like the company. It never
You
went.
just really let Fatal J down. That's like his favorite publisher.
No, I respect a lot of what was done. Just at that time period, I was desperately trying to move books and get cash, and it was in a very different headspace.
Chuck Gibson said his is Silken Ghost.
Yeah.
Problem with
Didn't hit me.
I was going to say the problem with cross-gen was that they were more of an artiste. That it was, they wanted to do something outside of what normally works, and that's wonderful. It's noble and everything, but it's not going to put asses in seats. You're going to try to both change what the market is consuming and the business model at the same time. That seems like it was a recipe for failure.
Dave K says, according to Macro Axis, a personalized wealth optimization service, Warner Brothers Discovery's stock probability of bankruptcy is over 60%.
Yeah,
seems pretty good.
Yeah, sure.
But that doesn't really mean anything, because there's plenty of companies out there that have 50, 60, 40, 70% that are perfectly strong, but they might just be over leveraged on something right now.
That means
it's a risk analysis.
50% chance that they go bankrupt.
Yeah, but it's all it's doing is analyzing their potential risk,
the health of their business,
not necessarily the health of their business. Sometimes it's their financial health that it might, but okay, they're producing something that right now and for the next few years, barring some magical, game-changing thing, a business can have a high probability just because they're over leveraged or they have too much debt. That's all it means.
Yes, and that's a bad thing. Who said anything else?
It means it just means
I don't understand what the bait is, Doc.
I'm just saying that all it means is a risk rather than actual. I think that it's
they're highly leveraged on debt, as well as Disney now because of the Fox acquisition.
Whatever.
Right?
We're talking at cross purposes at this point. So
I'm over leveraged on G.I. Joe Classified, Wes.
Exactly. It's not like if Warner Brothers Discovery goes bankrupt, there won't be Warner Brothers Discovery. The assets will be bought up by other companies, including probably DC Comics. What would those assets be worth, Perch? Should we start doing a pool of money?
We start doing the pool of money. Like, it's time to do a round. Let's get some.
We
cash.
get $1,200 together. We might get a good offer.
You'd be the trick to buying, not to go down this rabbit hole, but people had asked from comments I made in a video with Sean. Buying a comic company is viable for sure. You can get it on the cheap. The only thing to watch out for is you're buying debt in a lot of cases, and that you don't want.
That's why no one wants IDW.
Yeah, there's a lot of debt in some of these companies.
IDW.
Shocking amounts of debt.
Not shocking if you're paying attention.
Well, it's shocking that it's shocking in that debt requires somebody to keep letting you go into debt, and that's the surprising part.
What do you think about Dark Horse? Do you think they have a chance to step up for real? Like, do you think this Miller thing is going to be a boon for them, or are they just looking to move stuff again? Also,
it's a stabilizer. I don't think it's going to be a boom.
Mm-hmm.
Those are different plays. I think it will help stabilize their business, and that's good and healthy. But I haven't seen a growth strategy. Meaning beyond bringing these things in, what are you going to do to grow the overall pot? You're going to get some cash infusion. That's good. And it's going to be steady and regular based on how Miller puts out his books. But you gotta, what's the growth strategy in that company? And I don't know that their parent really wants a growth strategy.
Right. They're not like, it's not like Dark Horse really is a comic book company like they used to be.
Right.
Remember when they're about making comic books. Now they're like, our parent company wants to abuse whatever we can do to do whatever they have to do to make more.
Yeah. It's certainly not in the ownership. Yeah, they're just. I mean, who's going to put, $10 million in time and play to incubate 6 books and some creators and sign them for long-term deals? Kind of like what's happening right now with Conan. I think that is what's happening with Conan right now is a growth play. So
for Titan or Conan, or Heroic?
For Titan.
Okay. Yeah, expanding the line.
Being distributed by somebody other than Diamond would be a growth industry or growth positive for them.
Premier publisher now.
Critical.
They aren't at Penguin or Lunar, so I'm like almost to the point where I don't give a shit about any company goes through Diamond anymore.
Yeah, they've got to fix that distribution. That is key. Yep.
Now,
I mean, you're a premier publisher at Diamond. You're the last man standing.
I can't wait. This is like the last Buddhist or something.
If the Warner Brothers Discovery were to go bankrupt, Perch, what are the chances that we could finally see that rumor that Disney is going to buy DC?
I mean, people will make that rumor, but man, the amount of the loopholes. I don't think it happens. I just don't. I don't think Disney could get the credit to buy them. Well, they're so over leveraged too. Yeah, they are, but they can get money overseas. They could do it. I just think you'd get a lot of people sniffing at IP and antitrust and other things. Even though these characters are small, you would have so much bullshit involved in that. They wouldn't take it. And then I think if you're Disney, you would also look at it. Why does the MCU benefit from Superman flying into it? I would guess they would think no.
Man, I would love some Batman in the MCU. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun to speculate on, but I don't know.
Ryan Wilson says, "What's this Mill World Reading Club? Just you and Doc? Is any Patreon member able to be a part of it?" I asked because I was planning on reading that too. It's not a reading club. It's a comics guild. Reading clubs are for girls. So we're going to start this comics guild. We're going to read it from beginning to end. One issue every single week for, like 2 years. It will not be Doc and I. It will actually be 32 flavors of Nick Weiser and myself. And we're not going to read it together like a team or whatever. We're going to read the book along, and then we're going to release our thoughts on the issue. Hopefully beforehand, you read your copy of the issue, and then you can hear our thoughts and talk about it in the comments section. So we're not going to read it like as a team.
Well, wait, Wes. So that means you're not going to each pick a different character and be their voice and it be story time comics YouTube.
I'm not watching that. No.
But it's not a reading club, it's a comics guild because it's for boys.
Hey, did everybody forget that Josh is on the panel?
What's up, y'all? Wow.
I tried jumping in like 7 or 8 times, and I either got a look or overrun. So I was like, I'll just sit here and look pretty. It's fine.
Josh, you'll be able to understand this analogy. The difference between a reading club and a comics guild is when my wife and I go to the spa, she gets a pedicure, and I get a foot detail.
Yeah, I mean, look. As a person of a certain group, I'm in both. I have my Rainbow Rowell book club that I'm part of, and then I have my comics guild. Let's read some fucking Batman breaking arms club. So
dare you have multiple worlds? Man, you can only pick one.
Wait. Somebody actually reads Rainbow Rowell?
No.
Okay.
Anybody on this panel reads Rainbow, it's going to be.
How many people read Rainbow Rowell? They're 14-year-old girls reading their books.
Pretty much.
Cobbett Sin says, "Seriously, I hate Nora as Batman's daughter. Can there be a DC Comics without revolving around Batman?" Perch asked PKJ why Superman can't adopt Miguel Montes. Miguel is a better Superman than John will ever be. He's already got 2 adopted kids, Perch.
He needs more, man. He's creating a city of Clark.
City of Clark.
Yeah.
He needs as many orphans as Batman.
Yeah.
I was about to say,
orphans.
People were like, "Oh, there's too many members of the Bat family," and then the Superman editorial team was like, "Hold my beer."
Yeah.
Yeah. You cannot have a DC Comics universe without revolving directly around Batman. He is the sun, and all the other characters are orbiting around him. And I don't think that'll change anytime soon.
It should be Superman that's the sun, but that's just me.
I kind of agree with you. What does he hate about Nora as Batman's daughter? Do we even see that?
I hate it because I hate superheroes having kids.
I like John Kent. I thought it was pretty good.
When he was a Super Son.
Yeah. When he was actually John Kent. I don't know.
Yeah.
Are you going to ask that question to PKJ Perch since you guys are like buds?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Ask him why Superman doesn't adopt Miguel Montes because he's better than John. Should Superman kick his own son into the sun and adopt another boy to raise?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Is that how it works? You have a natural born son, but you want to adopt, so you're like, yeet right into the sun.
Yeet them into the sun. That's exactly right. No, I mean, I can guarantee the response to that. It's just going to be this kind of quiet, what? That will be the answer.
Dylan says Wes could herd cats better than this group. Absolutely. That is a very true statement.
Probably so.
It's good stuff. People like the action. We're having a nice conversation. Zook's pop culture. Doc is too uncouth for the finer things in life.
Depending on the day.
Doc's version of fine dining is the Olive Garden.
I hate the Olive Garden. I legitimately despise the Olive Garden.
Who doesn't like
fancy for
bread?
It's lowest common.
bread.
It is lowest common denominator Italian food.
Or you can eat soup and salad and breadsticks, man. That shit's good for $5.
If I'm gonna go,
Although it's probably $9 now, isn't it?
I think it's like 15. But regardless,
for soup, salad, and breadsticks.
Oh, you have not been to the States recently. But no, I legitimately despise the Olive Garden. All those things you just described, not Italian food. Soup, salad, and breadsticks, not Italian food.
Soup isn't. They don't have soup in Italy. Italy?
They're not. It's not.
I've been to Italy, and they gave me bread every single time I sat down.
Yeah, you know where else I can get where you get bread every time you sit down? A steakhouse. Everywhere gives you bread when you sit down.
Yeah,
it's $11.99.
Go to a fucking Chinese restaurant. You will not get bread.
No,
go into Olive Garden. Go into Olive Garden. Look, coming out of Olive Garden and complaining about the food is like coming out of a whorehouse crying, I just didn't feel loved. You know what you're getting when you go in.
Exactly. No, but when you go to the Chinese restaurant, they give you the fried wontons, which are basically the same thing.
They don't give me shit at my Chinese restaurant.
But you got a terrible Chinese restaurant.
Not even your order, you'll.
Well, I mean, I get that.
Josh, are bread and fried wontons the same thing?
Well, there's a substitute, right?
They're carbs, but I think
they're not the same.
One of them's fried, one of them's baked, one of them is made out of a completely different grain.
Yeah,
one is taking the place of the other one, though.
It's like saying all food made out of sugar is the same.
How are we saying bread is not Italian?
I'm not anti-bread being there's literally Italian bread.
Yes.
So. I took MVP to the local southwestern Mexican place, Ancho's, the other day, and they brought us tortillas. You know, it's just the thing.
You get
thing
chips,
that they bring
right?
You. Chips
exactly.
and
Like
tortillas.
The tortilla is a Mexican wonton.
You go to some place, you get peanuts on the floor and stuff like that. You know,
bread isn't Italian.
It's just something to shut you up while you wait for your service.
Fill up on that shit. Bread, that's the important thing.
My point is, bread is not specifically Italian. You know why?
Because every versions of bread.
Yes, and guess what? There's every other version of bread too.
But you know what is Amore and the Godfather theme? Because you're going to hear it all day long at the Olive Garden. Could you imagine working there? Oh my God.
Tommy reviews fuck Waid ever since Baltimore Comic-Con incident.
Was that the year that Sergio Aragonés made him cry and rush off the stage and run to his hotel room?
Wait, Sergio did? What the nicest guy in the world? What happened there?
Sergio was a little drunk, and Waid was the keynote speaker, and he got up and he was talking about digital, and Sergio started challenging him, and Waid doesn't like to be challenged when he's not on the computer, and he can't block you or mute you or, condescend to you, and Sergio humiliated him, and he came down off of the stage, and he stormed off in a tantrum. And
why are we mad at Waid for crying and running away?
Wait, is there video of this? Because I got to watch it now.
I need.
I doubt
if there is, I don't know where you would find it, but it is a documented thing that happened. Lots of people saw it. I think too, like him talking about Valerie.
This
Durazio.
is where he got the retailer kicked out of the convention. I think is what he's talking about, right?
Oh, okay.
That is what he's talking about.
The other one's bad. Wait, a retailer? Someone selling something?
Yes.
You don't remember this story?
I don't remember.
I don't remember this one either.
Like a guy like me or a guy like Aaron?
No, a guy like you.
Yeah.
What? What was
Yeah.
I selling?
Comics.
What was the
did
basis to
something.
get him kicked
Did I
out?
pay for a table?
No, there's just an argument ensued, and he got kicked out.
Holy! Oh, okay.
Because Mark Waid told
No, it
them
wasn't
to
like
kick
he
him out.
passed by and like, I don't like the comics at this table. Get this guy out of here. There was an argument that occurred, and
Oh, okay.
apparently somebody went. He went to go talk. This is maybe the part we don't know. So he went to go talk to convention owners. Said this guy is bad. Need to get him out of here, and that's where
He's all right.
And I'm guessing, or me and my friends will never come back to your show because he's made that threat publicly
Yeah,
before.
there's a lot of I don't know what all was in there, but
Who's the number one Mark Waid friend that won't show up to a show that I'll care about?
yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna go.
I know
with
it's
Bob
not
Grayson?
very. I know it's not
Evan
Barry
Grayson?
Kitson. I know it's not Barry Kitson because when I was at Boom and he was doing Irredeemable, he kept swearing that Barry, was going to do a cover for him, going to do a cover for him, going to do a cover for him, and yet Barry would never deliver it until finally someone else had to contact Barry and say, "Look, I need this cover by this date," and basically like get very aggressive.
But they worked on
and send
Legion
it in,
together,
so.
didn't they?
Yeah, I guess but I guess that wasn't enough to.
There you go. Grateful Dog wants to know old school Brave and the Bold or World's Finest, Josh. This is a you question if I've ever had one. Which one's better?
Like, are we talking about just current World's Finest or just in
Old
general?
school.
Old school.
That's tough, man. I would probably leave old school Brave and the Bold right now just because I'm revisiting a lot of those books and kind of that just charm of them is winning me over. But they're both. I love both. I don't. This is
I
a
like
Sophie's
seeing,
choice
like
here.
DC characters in weird settings, so I always like Brave and the Bold.
Yeah.
I think Brave and the Bold, from my little bit of enjoyment of DC, I like that one because it gave me a little more variety of characters
Agreed.
than World's Finest. So that's where I.
All right, you're the retailer. Which one's better?
Well, I mean, I didn't sell it back in those days.
Yeah, but
And
you
World's
read it.
Finest is better. Obviously, you get Batman in
Eat
Brave
it,
and the
Josh.
Bold. You get Batman in World's Finest. You also get Superman and probably a Green Arrow story and some other people you don't care about, but eventually get around to. And I was buying it back when it was $1, and they were big and thick. And I would say World's Finest. Now, if you're gonna go classic, I'd still say World's Finest because the covers were way better.
Sparrow, what's
Batman.
better, World's Finest or Brave and the Bold back in the day?
Brave and the Bold.
There you go.
And just and like to mirror what Doc said, it's because I just got a greater variety of characters in those stories. So it was just it fit my sensibilities more because it was just a little more varied.
All right, Perch, do you want to pile on Yule here and let him know that he's completely wrong and go with Brave and the Bold?
I'd go World's Finest. They're crazier stories.
You're being a contrarian. This is why people say you're woke, man.
Yeah.
You just said that.
No, man, it's
Well, I mean,
us
I'm-
retailers have to stick together.
I'm like looking at my wall where I've got a bunch of comics there, and I'm just seeing a lot more World's Finest up there than Brave and the Bold. And there's like crazy ass stories there. There's like Superman and Batman murdering people, Superman putting Batman into stocks, and there's like all kinds of. I mean, World's Finest gave us some amazing shit.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
yes.
Superman tried to sleep with his cousin?
All kinds of I
Probably,
mean, she's
yeah.
banging. Why not? I mean, but anyway, what happens in Alabama or Krypton stays there. But there's a comic where Robin is like,
Krypton's got different culture.
it does. You can't like look. You can't make. Why are you trying to implement your Western values
Exactly.
on?
Damn Yankees.
Yeah. There's that awesome cover. I'm looking at it right now. Robin is like pedaling fast on the bike, and Superman and Batman like a bunch of dicks are just sitting there with their feet up and letting him do all the work. I mean, that's how can you?
Is that as good as seeing Robin as a cat while Nightwing tells him something stupid from that dumb meme?
No. It's way better. Like, look, the Silver Age covers are awesome. There's my absolute favorite is you've got Jimmy Olsen and Robin, and they're digging their own graves. They're standing in them, digging them out.
Superman's probably making him do it.
He is. Superman
He's
and
like
Batman are
standing
standing
over him?
behind him, and Superman's like, due to my code, I can't kill you. And Batman's like, that's why I'm here, and he's holding a gun, and it's awesome.
Superman and Batman being dicks was such a great comics aesthetic. Like just
I
covers
had
where
so much-
Superman's just being an absolute a-hole. Like
Old
that was the whole
school
Superman
thing.
would do
Finest
psychotic
is the
stuff on
best.
those covers to Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, old school World's Finest was absolutely peak. I love it. I mean, Bravenwald, great stories for sure, but World's Finest have provided me memories that last for my entire life.
That is fair.
I can't disagree with that logic at all.
Oh no, the dogs. You're gonna have to talk, guys.
Do yourself
I'll read
a
it.
favor,
I'll read it.
all of you.
I'll read it.
The
Garfield's
next,
Bizarre Adventure says Japanese manga is here to stay. The mainstream American comic industry is too busy alienating a good chunk of their audience and shaming their buyers.
Correct.
Fair.
Yeah, Japanese comics figured it out for sure.
You know what the difference is? The Japanese have a culture of doing your best work, always doing your best work. And they have a humble appreciation of the people that buy their books. That's the main difference in just attitude, you know, in the way that they approach things. And that's why they're successful.
Generally speaking, that's my experience with Japanese business as well. Yeah.
I think Americans just bitch too much. What do you think, Perch?
How dare you?
Oh, you son of a bitch, Yule.
Yeah.
No,
Are they
like
like
your-
that in
your-
Japan?
I don't like
Are
your
they
take-
just like crotchety all the time about
Yeah,
all their
I mean,
manga? Do they
yeah.
like, oh my god, did you see what happened to Luffy or something like that?
Manga.
Fluffy.
Jesus, Fluffy.
Is it Fluffy?
Fluffy.
I
It's
should have
Fluffy.
said that.
Yuffie. Yuffie with a Y. No,
You know what? I don't like your take, Yule. Unsubscribe.
Yeah. The biggest
Fuck
manga.
Gachimon. How you like that?
The biggest
Oh,
manga advantage is that the creators are ultimately in control of the book, and so when it's time for the book to end, they just end it and they go on to something else, and that actually is a big factor. You don't have some other random person there trying to figure out who's going to carry it forward, and that's a huge benefit.
When One
Well, we
Piece
like
ends,
our IPs
we're gonna
here. We like
relaunch
our
it.
IP comics here rather than a creator comic usually in
Yeah.
American comic books. You know, we're bitching. We're just talking about Marvel and DC usually, and I know that offends comic creators out there. Well, you're not talking about IDW and Oni and Scout. Well, if I'm going to pay attention to those, you're going to be in a lot of trouble because they suck.
Nobody's
Also-
talking about
Nobody
Right.
puts
IDW.
no asses in seats.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to show you a comic. I got to go out and get it. It's quite literally the worst piece of shit I've ever fucking seen in a comic book from a comic company.
Like
Steve Orlando's Commanders in Crisis.
No, that's quality. I mean, just visually, you're going to be assaulted. It's just
Chris
it's
Cantwell's
just
The
horrible.
Blue Flame.
You
Chris
can't
Cantwell's
believe it.
anything.
You can't believe this. It's just what.
Like I hate to say it, but you know, creator-owned books won't even get people to get in the fucking car to go to the store.
Right.
Unless they're Walking Dead or Saga, and not
Yeah.
Saga anymore.
But not
Yeah.
Saga, no.
No.
And
Not Walking Dead anymore either, technically. So
no, because I mean, the only people buying that are the
No, but
people that skipped it the first time, or the ones that bought it the first time and want to just buy it again, but in color.
But you look at like The Walking Dead when it was out, and you looked at the rise of Invincible during that time. That was actually at a very small level. What you see happening in Japan with manga is you get a popular title, and then the company, the publisher, and the creators, etc., the people around it are clever in that they'll take a title that they think's up and coming, and they'll try and mirror those together, and they'll cross promote within different channels and everything else. So they'll take a success and build another success with it.
Yeah.
In the US, for whatever reason, nobody can figure that fucking marketing 101 thing out. And so something is successful and it goes out, and then it's like, let's start again to get the train moving. And it's just stupid.
Well, Perch, I will say, and I know I sound like a broken record on this one. That's because anyone that even passed a marketing class is in a job that pays better than the comics industry.
Hey, man, that's a woke comment. Every time I say shit like that, I am a woke.
Well, no, I said that.
Congratulations, woke doc.
Way to go, Connie.
You get
Hey,
the hat, you commie.
Never thought I'd see it today.
But remember
Doc
what
Doc
I
is
said
woke.
about Daniel Cherry. If he was any actually fucking good at his job, he wouldn't be in comics.
All right, Tommy
Well,
Reviews.
It's almost as if you should pay them more.
Talking about Mark Waid, he made a retailer get kicked out of Baltimore Comic Con and threatened Richard C. Meyer. He showed up after getting Antarctic Press to drop Jawbreakers, what I was referring to.
Oh, that one. Come get me. We kind of talked about that, I think. That makes
Mark Waid's a piece of shit. I mean, you're not really telling us anything we don't know.
It's a big
News at 11, yeah.
BDSM all the way, right? Perch when talking about Mark Waid.
I mean, it's just sad. I stand by what I said earlier. It's sad to see this. Like at some point, you think there'd be some medication or a good friend or something, weed, whatever it happens to be, that's gonna, be the intersection.
Tell me about it.
Being like, I wonder if I see this terrible thing. Whoop.
Rich Meyer was in the Army and he was in the Marines. If Waid ever confronted him, Waid would be leaving with a wedgie, an atomic wedgie, and the dreaded rear admiral.
I paid to see it.
I paid to see it too.
Not entirely true, Perch. Ooh, I like this. Manga authors have editors too.
Yeah, of course they do. No, the comment was, and I responded to chat. The comment was that the creator typically has control if the title continues 99% of the time. Yes, manga has editors and people that come in and help. But if the manga creator is like, you know what, I think I'm going to wrap this thing up, the publisher, the owner doesn't come in and you're like, I know, well, the proper answer here is to sign some random person who has an entirely different version of how the character should be and wants to go in a bold new direction for 12 issues, and then we'll do it again with some other person. That's
One Piece #1 relaunch by Tom King.
That's right. Yes, exactly. So you don't have that effect.
One of the weird things, Perch, where Mark Waid said there's not one single example anyone can give to him of a comic book writer wanting to tell stories that aren't about the heroes.
I don't even know what he's saying at that point. I mean,
The guy actually gave him 3 examples and then he ignored all of them.
I mean,
Yeah, he was just a condescending a-hole and just dismissed everything. Like it, and I just pointed out when I saw that on Twitter, and I think it was Bleeding Fool posted it. And I said, well, the very first example I can give is Mark Waid's last Captain America run with King Baby. That was him writing insert characters, writing his own political screeds, writing his own, going off the rails and not writing the characters.
But why this? It's I don't know. Fuck it. We've talked about it already. It's fine. It's fine.
No, hit it, Perch.
I'm exhausted too, Perch.
No, it is like this is a problem, and you see this with very immature, brain dead people, is that they take everything to the most extreme version of it. I have never in my entire life ever seen a comic creator ever say something negative about somebody on social media, and you're like, oh, fuck off then. Clearly, clearly you don't know what you're talking about, and I don't even know why you do that stuff. And we see this a lot in comics of this. I have never seen anyone in any case be rude to a retailer. It's like,
yeah,
okay, thanks, buddy.
You are clearly lying, dude.
I always wonder, like, I want, this is the therapist in me. I want to get into that head and understand what happened in there. Because some of these people I do believe actually believe it. I get texts from people every now and then, and they'll say things like, and they fully believe this crazy bullshit they just said. And how? Like, what happened? Were you dropped on your head? Did you like too much sniffing glue as a kid? Like, what occurred to you to be this dumb? It's just weird. I don't understand.
I didn't too much glue, but I did eat Elmer's glue as a kid.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
I don't know. I don't know. It's all crazy.
All right. Grateful Dog. One full comic run you'd like to own. Great panel.
I'd like to, so I don't own it, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not
ASM.
Just ASM period.
World's finest, man.
The entire full run of ASM. I've got 300 up, and until I gave up during this current run. I already have my full Uncanny and all the other X-Men, so
I'll keep it simple. I'll just say I'd like to fill in the rest of my Flaming Carrots. Maybe that'll be my 24 resolution or comic hunt thing.
Flaming Carrots or bust.
Yeah. I mean, I've got #1, so pretty much the most important one. Well, I mean, I've got others. I'm not just starting with one, and that's it.
I've got like the
It
Robert
won't fit on
Venditti
me.
Exo Man of War stuff in trades, but I don't have like the single issues. I would love to have that entire run, but you know, I don't need anything that's going to be worth like $5 million like Doc.
By the way, hey, nobody said, sorry, I'm just fine. This line number 2, we have no idea why we're being called cancel pigs. Nobody's actually saying that, right? Here? Nobody's saying that.
No.
No, why?
To be clear,
Like, I don't
people are
understand
messaging me,
it.
We're going, I don't think this is fair. This is mean. Why are they doing this to me? Not why they're being called. Like, why are they doing this to me? And the answer is, see the past 10 years.
Sure can.
Yeah. Have you tried to cancel someone in the
Yes.
past? Like public, have you joined a digital lynch mob? Then you were a cancel pig. That's why you're being called that.
I mean,
I will say Joe Glass said, I don't know what that means.
Well,
figure it out.
I'm
Hey,
willing
fellas,
to
we're
that.
supposed to be answering the question. What's the comic run you would like to own, Sparrow?
I'm going to agree with Doc on Amazing Spider-Man. I have a lot of the
Wants to be
issues,
a millionaire.
but well, it's pie in the sky. He didn't say what comic run that you can afford.
yes.
So
All right,
yeah,
so we got 2 ASMs. We got 1 Flaming Carrot. I'm on Exo Man of War. Josh, you got to be on Detective, right?
I mean, that would be like my lofty goal, but what I'm gonna go with what I'm actually trying to fill out right now, and it's just my Nightwing run. So my first goal is to get all the issues of Nightwing 96 through 2009 together.
Chuck Dixon run.
Chuck Dixon, and then Tomasi and everyone that came in a little bit after him. But yeah,
Oh, you should
Switch
shoot me
you to that
some
Seeley
numbers.
stuff, man.
huh?
Switch
Send
you
you
to
some
Tim
numbers.
Seeley.
I mean, I've read it and I have a couple of those issues. I'm pretty much trying to collect everything, but if I had to goal myself of what am I really looking forward to get, it's that. So I've already collected everything Huntress, anything Helena Bertinelli I've got. So moved on to Dick Grayson.
Wasn't she like in Batman Family and stuff like that too? Do you have all that?
And Justice League International, and there was
Wow.
like 2 issues of Green Arrow from the late 80s, early 90s. Like I've got it.
Even Infinity Inc. Wasn't she like in Earth 2 there also, or do you not go that far?
We
I
will find a
believe
comic book that you have not bought and cannot afford with her in it
No.
to ruin your dream.
She's pretty. It's not. She's not really in anything super expensive. So
She's a cheap floozy, is
yeah,
what you're
pretty
saying.
much. She's a
First,
cheap floozy, but she's a good time.
Perch, is there
Yeah.
one comic book run that you would like to fill? Is it
Yeah,
Dick?
World's Finest. I'm there. I'd love to have
he
that whole
really
run.
is.
I think that'd be pretty fun.
That's actually my
also-
number 2 now because Perch sold it to me. Like clearly he was a retailer because he
Listen,
made me
What's
go,
your
yeah, I do need those.
Get in there and do that. Go see those covers. Like when you're having a bad day, Mark, whatever bullshit's going on, just say I'm gonna reset my brain for 5 minutes. I'm just gonna go Google. I'm gonna put in Silver Age World's Finest and just spend 5 minutes. You feel happier. You'll laugh. You'll come back and be stronger in that argument, kicking that person in the ass. Just World's Finest. That's it.
He also wants to know what's your favorite full run that you own, and mine is Hound Jordan and Green Lantern Corps Robert Venditti. He's my favorite writer. What's the best run that you own that's already full, Josh?
I would honestly, I'm gonna get shit for this, but I would probably say the Grayson run. I just
Sell out.
Yeah, I love that run, and I've got it. So
I'm just messing with you. What's your favorite full run, Doc? Is it X-Men?
I'm still actually technically 3 issues
Missing-
short
Missing 3 now. It's
of
6.
yeah, I'm down to 3 issues.
Oh, it's Wildstorm. Never mind.
yeah, my entire Wildstorm universe from start to finish.
Mm.
Yeah.
Even though there's a lot of it that is pretty junky, especially right at the very beginning, and especially right at the very end when you had hacks like Tim Seeley and Tom Taylor writing.
So you got those Gail Simone Gen 13s?
I do actually own those. That's the only that most of her Deadpool and her Agent X, I believe, are the only Gail Simone that I run that I own.
Sparrow, what's the run that you have that's your favorite?
It depends on how we're defining full run, because it would be X-Men up through a certain number of issues. But like once they started getting into all the crazy amount of variants, I don't have every variant of every issue that I've, but I do own a physical copy of each issue up through, it's got to be like 300 and something. Not all of them
Very
are
nice.
in the very best condition, but they are there.
Yule, is yours Malibu Comics? What's your favorite full run?
I don't know what I have that's full that is my favorite. I'm gonna say something like Breach by DC.
Oh,
that was really good and short, so I have them all.
Perch, what's your favorite full run?
It's still the X-Men. I have a lot of fondness of that, regardless of what's happened the last 5 years. I do love that run.
So where do you go up to? Issue like 3
of the X-Men?
Yeah,
all of
it
now. Till now.
Today.
Still
now you're still buying that shit?
Of course.
Oh.
You get everything, even like those New Mutants books and stuff like that too.
I have New Mutants. I have X Factor. I have the spinoffs, the miniseries.
Oh, the Teeny Howards.
You got the book where Psylocke
like
and
the
Blob are
80s,
banging.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Your volume 1 is what you mean.
I have that.
By the way, I know there's
X-Men.
pauses here. I'm trying, like when I'm typing away, I try and mute it so I'm not annoying the shit out of everybody else in the chat. But that's it probably didn't take. There's no thought needed. I love that X-Men run. I love a lot of pieces of it. It's a brilliant run for decades. And yeah,
it was so awesome when they were in San Francisco. Don't you agree?
Oh God, Fraction.
I wish
they were in San Francisco with Claremont too.
I miss when I thought that Fraction run was the worst it could get.
I missed when I thought Chuck Dixon was the worst it could get.
Oh.
No, Chuck Austin.
Chuck Austin. Sorry.
Do not be smirched.
How dare you? They would never put Chucky Dix on an X-Men.
Yeah, I apologize. I apologize to Chuck Dixon. I'm sorry. I don't know why that came out. Chuck Austin.
Caleb says Vidal probably sniffed too much glue. There's a possibility distinctly. Jeremy Smith, completely out of the blue, but Eddie Sam Keith fans.
Ooh, baby, he
Absolutely.
good.
I loved his Wolverine, especially those covers for Marvel Comics Presents that he did.
Yeah.
He introduced Cyber in that psychedelic, trippy, Cyber's driving a big hot dog car and he's like Wolverine's like sports coach. It's just the weirdest shit ever.
Sam Keith over Mignola as far as I'm concerned on that kind of
Oh, that's a bold
Don't be saying stuff like that to Jimmy. That dude is like the biggest Mignola fan in the world.
Who?
Jimmy.
Remember Jimmy Comics Works?
I love that guy.
I'm gang tipping that dude.
So as a comic out of nowhere, I know we're early, but the Jungle Adventure that was done, that one shot little graphic novel where Wolverine goes off in the jungle, fights a robot apocalypse, great Mignola artwork, knocks up a woman that apparently there's still a kid running around there from her. We just never get back to, but that's an awesome read.
Wait, I have an aside. Since you brought that up, Perch, do you remember, Doc, that Colossus probably has an illegitimate son in the Savage Land?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That they've just never picked up on.
He also has, I think, an illegitimate kid with an alien lady from Battleworld.
Oh yeah.
Wait, I thought she died, right? Wasn't that the whole thing with her?
She did die, but I thought that
was the whole thing.
She came here, but they had been in Colossus.
Wait, she came here?
Yeah, she was here for a while. Like right after
I thought he came back and he was like, "Hey, Kitty, I'm breaking up with you because I fell in love with this broad that died."
Yeah, that was a battle.
She's like, and she was like, "I can't ever fight someone that isn't alive. I never."
I thought she was here for a little bit.
Well, I'm only like talking Claremont, so like anything that after, I don't care.
Yeah.
They revisited. They revisited that, but that was much later when they're like, let's make this love triangle, attractive, even though it's far stale. So, but I mean, the X-Men have a massive amount of illegitimate children out there.
Oh yeah,
there's like X kids running around everywhere.
There are if you ever want to just do like a slice of life, deadbeat dad. Deadbeat Dad X-Men
therapy episode.
Actually, this is an awesome event. It's the X-Men having to come to grips with all the children they polluted all because Nightcrawler is not. I mean, he's not using birth control.
No.
There's
what? Oh, I guess you're right.
Catholic,
but he's not premarital. Well, he is. With
Oh,
yeah.
Amanda, for
Like,
sure.
Oh yeah,
One of the biggest
Nightcrawler's
things
had
there
lots of premarital sex. Yeah.
Well, he's not a
Nightcrawler is
very
a
good,
fucking
he's not a very
man
good
whore.
practicing Catholic, then I guess.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I guess he does. He can like go forth and
I see.
multiply
As long
thing a
as
little
it's not in the
serious.
bedroom, it doesn't count anymore. Okay.
No. I mean, you just go and you ask the priest for forgiveness, and then you go do it
Yes.
again. That's
You
how
gotta
that
confess
works.
your sins.
And he's a priest, so he could just
Boom,
ask
just like
himself
that.
for forgiveness. No, yeah, that would be an event. Like all the fucking kids.
Why
I
does
mean,
all the events that Perch wanted to do have to do with people having kids all over the place?
I don't know. It's funny.
How many little Perches are out there?
More than I can count. I'm a world traveler, man.
Wow.
Perch has left litters in the four corners of the world.
That is true. So virile. No, but in all seriousness, you go back and read some of these 80s books of the X-Men, and you will be shocked at how many times there's a little subplot of one of the X-Men going and knocking up some woman. And half the time they show the pregnancy of the baby. This comic, The Jungle Adventure, like he flies off and the woman is standing there holding a baby. So it's like,
And he still left.
he's like, fuck it, I've done my due. So and Nightcrawler was repeatedly shown just hopping different dimensions, not compete like, I'm getting into bathtub with a girl. What will happen next?
I just read that issue the other day, the Saturnine variant that was the evil queen, and then she just just decimates one of her servants for spilling wine on her hand.
I'm telling you, there's a plot there.
Grateful Dog. My favorite owned run from
Yes.
Marvel is the NAM in Marvel Team Up Volume 1 for DC. It's Unknown Soldier Volume 1 and Jonah Hex Volume 1. Thanks for sharing, guys. Jonah Hex, cool character, completely underutilized.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for sharing, Grateful Dog, and starting up a very fun conversation there.
That was fun.
But it is time to talk about some comic book recommendations.
Yeah, look at this right here. Look at what Yule's holding up. First of all,
That's not how lighters work, by the way.
No, but it's still awesome. That is that was funny. You can just light it and toss it. But that is a great looking book. It's a great story, and it leads right into recommendations. There you go. But definitely proof Wolverine knocked somebody up.
All right, Perch. We need proof that you're still woke. What comic books are you recommending this week, sir?
Proof. I mean, well, I guess Moon Knight. We didn't get to it, but best comic of the week for sure.
You really like that one?
No, it sucks. But
I think the controversy was overblown, but it wasn't a good comic book.
It was, and I guess we didn't get to it, but a question for all of you: does anyone truly believe that it will not be Mark Spector back in the Moon Knight costume in less than 12 months?
Someday.
Anybody believe it will be somebody else?
No.
Keeping in mind, by the way,
Spider-Man.
how long did Jed do Strange, where Clea was the new Strange, and then how many issues did that last before we were right back to
9,
Strange?
10, something like that.
Yeah, like the dumbest part about all this is 100%. It's going to go right back. This is going to be a temporary, like, ooh, who it is. It's going to be some Zodiac brainwash Mark Spector who's mean for a while, and they're just going to have to heal him with the power of love, and then we'll be right back to the same shit again with another #1 issue in less than a year.
But isn't that
So you're
why
recommending Moon Knight 30?
So recommend Moon Knight, definitely. It's a great book. White Widow, amazing. No, look,
Perch is doing what I believe the Europeans refer to as taking the piss.
Yes, I think that's correct. Hey, I like Superman Lost, and I know it's very polarizing of people who like it and don't like it. But I do appreciate this kind of take. I think Priest is doing a good job bringing us something kind of new that's still staying true to the character. There is a big surprise on the last page, is clearly bait and switch, but that's a fun little book. I wish I liked Captain America more. I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong with it. It just doesn't feel like it matters.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
The art was so much better in this issue than the previous 3, though.
Yeah. Or you could pick up the Punisher, but I can't talk about that because David Peppo says I cannot have his name in my mouth.
Get your name out of his mouth.
Well, I don't
That
want
was
anything
so
in his mouth.
weird.
Bad things in that mouth. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Anyway, there you go.
What should people be looking out for? Perch, you got a big interview or anything people should be keeping an eye out for?
I'll have some interviews. I think the videos I've got uploaded through January 15th already. So
You're so lucky.
yeah.
I want to not work on Monday, and I'm having to work my ass off just to get the stuff ready.
it's not Frank Castle, by the way, pleasure. This is why when people do, like, I understand the value of internet feuds and everything, and we've talked some of it in the chat. I'm a stupid person to have a feud with, because by the time I get back to responding to whatever's challenge has been thrown out, and then I record it in the car, and then like 3 months later it goes out on the channel, like 6 months has gone by. And I did something a while back, and it's like, people have forgotten about the original challenge thrown, and it creates more drama. Like, start drama with somebody like who actually gives a shit and is good. I'm terrible. So there you go.
Start drama with Yule on Fantastic Comics.
Please.
I love
He wants
Yule.
a YouTube beef.
Yeah, there you go. I'll do it.
I'm all looking to beat.
Yeah.
So there you go. Thank you very much for joining us, Perch. Really appreciate your
I'm
perspective.
glad to be here. It's good people, even when people take the piss out of me in the comments. You're all good people, including the people taking the piss at me in the comments.
Oh, I've got the best viewers in the world, even better than your channel.
For sure. No doubt. No argument.
No crossover
Who
there.
else we got? Sparrow,
Harvey
you
sucks.
recommended comics this week?
Yeah, I think it's pretty. I mean, you could probably guess what I'm going to recommend.
Sludge
give
by
it a
Aaron
shot?
Presti.
Well, I mean, if we're going old school, but
Sludge.
if you're going, like, I actually have I think it was this week. At least I read it this week, which is I'm just going to say, good comics are the right of all sentient beings.
Oh, and Transformers
I like
number 3 was
Transformers number
last week.
3.
That's a good one. That was a good issue. I really like that one.
I mean,
The
well, I'm
double-page
generally a week
spread
behind. The way I pick up
where,
my books, I'm generally a week behind.
Skywarp is about to hit the human, and then all of a sudden Optimus shows up and like stops him. Was awesome. No, I'm the only one.
That arm scene.
The arm scene was great. When you rip your own arm off and beat somebody with it.
I am
You know
a little
you're mad.
behind on that too.
Oh, I didn't mean to spoil everything there.
No, it's all right.
That's a good book. That's
I'm
a big
selling it very
recommendation.
well.
What should people be looking out for, Aaron? They keep asking me, "Where's your channel?"
I mean, I have a channel, but I don't do it. I come here. Like, I don't know. Like, I've never wanted to be. I started a channel and I was like doing unboxings and things like that, like of toys and stuff that I enjoyed. But it's a lot of work to edit all that stuff. And then I started doing more stuff with Wes and started doing more stuff with other people. Now I'm on a show Tuesday with Josh, Pop by Culture. I'm his co-host on there. I do all the stuff with Wes. Occasionally I pop up on like World Class Bullshitters or Clownfish TV. Do Max's Man Cave on Sunday with MVP. I'm just kind of like the
YouTube
carnival
bicycle
roustabout, man. I'm
is
just
what you are.
a YouTube gadabout is. But if you do, my channel is Dapper Dragon Media. I may start posting some stuff on there because sometimes stuff comes out and I have an immediate reaction to it, and I can't record with Wes right away, and then I lose the fire.
Aaron, at least he referred to you as a bicycle.
So yeah, might start doing that.
When I was bouncing from channel to channel, I was called a Barrack Bunny.
The shoe fits. Yule Carter also has a YouTube channel, Fantastic Comics, and a lot of times you'll do interviews and lots of good stuff. Anything people should be looking out for?
Yeah. So I have Unended. I haven't read the entire thing. It's like 250 pages, and it's by Josh Bayer. It's uncivilized. Everything else is going to be focused, but this artwork is pretty crazy, and he has a very messy style, and it's very independent. But what the
It
idea
looks like Garbage Pail Kids back in the day.
Yeah, maybe kind of a little bit. So the idea about this one is that Josh Bayer takes his father's unfinished play and he's going to finish it, but make the entire thing a comic book. So it's this whole exploration of him and his father and making comics and being a creator and stuff like that. Very, very good so far. I'm about 30 pages in. On our 199th episode of Fantastic Comics, we had Joe Casey on. So Action Comics 1060, the backup story is a Kneel Before Zod tie-in, which is a series he's going to be doing in January. You must pick that up. And this and that. He also does Junior Baker. It's really good. Junior Baker Righteous Faker. This is the penultimate issue. Highly recommended. And then on my show, I'm doing Tuesdays with Dutch. So I'm doing Old Team Youngblood look at these books because Joe Casey's also going to be doing a Dutch series in February, I do believe. Now, the comic I don't want you to pick up next week is unfortunately written by Mike W. Barr. It's his old ass Maze agency. and the artwork inside, I feel ripped off. And this is Scout. And when the comic book in the original days looked infinitely better than what's coming out now, I'm sick of Scout. I'm sick of that company. I can't stand them.
I loved the Maze Agency back in the day. I didn't even know that was coming back.
Yeah, I was really excited because I have like 5 old customers that are going to be, oh yeah, all right. And then they're going to look inside and this is garbage. Just make it black and white and get the original people if they're still alive.
Howard Sit says, I bought the trade of Arcade Kings, and guess what? It's Tankobon size and cheaper than $40 of 5 issues together. I recommend Radiant Black 27 and 27.5. Are Tankobon size here to stay in the American comic book industry there, Perch?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Every time I see Radiant Black, I mean, it's a good series, but I just think about how thirsty that creator is at cons.
I really prefer Rogue Sun.
Hmm.
But Kyle Higgins is always thirsty.
I mean, yeah, see, now I'm doing what I said I wouldn't do.
He might, but yeah, but how long ago was that? What was the last time?
Let's see, last time 2021, I remember.
Oh my god, so not that long ago.
Quite a show.
I mean, if you saw me 10 years ago or 15 years ago, it'd be different than now.
Yeah.
I like that he was like, when was
Not
the last time? Purchase like yesterday.
I'm literally only thirsty for comics at fucking conventions. I don't do anything that doesn't involve just looking for comics.
Josh, are you recommending comic books this week?
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I thought this week sucked. The only thing I will give like it was good praise to was Green Lantern, but this week was a bust. Yeah,
you didn't like Detective Comics?
I mean, look, I'm gonna be honest. I haven't been reading Detective or Batman. I stopped. So.
Oh. Well,
yeah. Sorry.
All right.
I'm mostly on the indie right now.
Green Lantern's pretty damn good book, though.
That Kev Walker art on Guardians was good. I'm not loving this run at all, but Kev Walker turn in a hell of a good looking Guardians #9.
Dude, I saw somebody say Valentina was the best Guardians artist, and I gotta say you're wrong.
That is incorrect. Yeah,
it was a fun book, but
this is not a situation where you can have taste that's different from another person. Jim Valentino is not the best Guardians artist. That's all I'm saying. He's an artist that worked on Guardians. I'll give you that.
So, Josh, you didn't like Enfield Gang Massacre this week?
So, I haven't read it yet because it was sold out at my shop, which has never happened before. But I was like,
why didn't you put it on your pool?
Okay, I love my comic shop. My owner and I have had many conversations about me not doing a pull list, and I told him I'm not doing a pull list. So I just don't. I know, but I don't trust books enough, and especially when you're indies, there's too much of a risk that it's just going to be a mini series. So I'm not going to put it on a pull list to get the issue 1 to be like, oh, I don't like it. Like I don't, and I can't trust the big 2 enough to stick with the creative team or direction long enough to make a pull list worthwhile.
Here's a spoiler, Josh. Enfield Gang Massacre #5, best issue yet. You missed out.
There we go. Now, what I will say is I am one of those people that if they sell out, I will just have my LCS owner order it for me and I'll just get it later. So
well, there we go. Last but not least, Doc, do you have any recommendations this week?
Well, I'm definitely, like usual, not recommending anything new. I know you and I got to review Dark X-Men #5, and I mean, it's a book that's in comic format that exists, but you'll get to hear a review sooner or later. But what I will recommend is, once again, old comics. And I'm going to start with my favorite Christmas comic. I don't know why, but I fucking love this book. It's, the X-Men at Rockefeller Center. I think I talked about this one a week or 3 ago. Joe Mad art, and they're hanging out, and then
remember when they used to go to the mall and stuff?
I know, and fucking Gladiator shows up, and he ends up into a big fight with Cannonball. I love this issue. It's so much fun. And it's a good, we're at the right time of the year to appreciate this. So that I'm gonna recommend. This is Uncanny 341, and then we're gonna recommend Uncanny 342 because it continues that whole, it's also Joe Mad art, continues the story, and it's really fun. Then we're gonna go with something old, and this is the 30-cent variant of Uncanny X-Men. What is this, 98 or?
Oh, nice.
98, yeah. So the 30-cent variants, they did 30-cent variants on issues 98, 99, and 100. And only in, I believe, the Kansas City market. So they're a little harder to find.
Cool.
So, and then finally, we'll go with, it's not a very good comic, but the fucking cover's dope. I mean, it's a J. Scott Campbell doing Wolverine. We don't get enough of that, so he is.
Why doesn't he have a tiny waist and like a really pretty face?
Well, he does have a
organs.
Look, he
Because
does have
it's J. Scott Campbell.
he does have a tiny waist.
I would say he's got that whole back arch going on.
That didn't work.
Yeah, he's got that.
Where did spleen go?
That Liefeld. Hey, you know what? Boobs are fucking organs. Okay. And
Every time somebody says
chest.
that, every time somebody says that, where are her organs about a J. Scott Campbell drawing, I can point you to 5 Instagram models that have that exact build.
Exactly. And additionally, I don't care if her fucking spleen is behind her tits. Tits are organs. They're there somewhere. I don't really care. But yeah, I love this cover. It's a really cool cover. Not a very good comic, but hey, that's the comic industry that we have now. It doesn't matter what the fuck's inside the book. Just got a cool cover.
That came out a while ago, right?
Yeah, this one's fairly old. I don't recall exactly when it came out.
Who the hell? Who is Dunleavy?
Yeah, exactly.
See, there you go, people. They can keep people out of comics.
Yes.
After their bad issue.
Well, the problem is you can't keep people out of comics. You can't keep enough of them out of comics.
Right.
No matter how lackluster that comic is, we'd probably kill for that comic today.
Give me some Dunleavy, please.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
this
I
is
think
hidden
people
talent.
are excited about the side beard mostly. We do have one final question from Pop Sequentialism. Wes Nepeta, what's the best writer-artist team working today, if not now, within the last 5 years?
Oh.
So
Like legit working together, I'm going to say Sorrentino and Lemire, but I don't read everything they do.
Brubaker and Phillips.
Baker Johns and Gary Frank or Rice. I think some of the combos when he works with Frank, it's pretty magical.
Yeah, I like those too.
I will go with the one issue of The Ambassadors with Mark Millar and Travis Charest.
Not really a team, though.
They work together on a book. That's it.
Yeah.
That's a team.
The last 5 years, what was this again?
If you can't think of one today, you can give one within the last 5 years.
Yeah. Those Ghost
I'll
Machines.
go with Brubaker and Phillips. I think those guys have a great working relationship, and they only produce high-quality books every single time.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Logan
I can't deny
doesn't
that.
count.
I can't deny that, and I can't think of anybody else. So I can't think of anybody to top them. So
For the win right here.
Boom.
I want to say thank you very much to the panel and everyone for supporting the channel. I hope you're all ready for some awesome holidays and you're in the Christmas spirit. It was great to have Perch back and obviously have a wonderful conversation about a very unprofessional person this week, but it's been a weird week in comic books. Hopefully things get better in 2024. And if I seemed a little curt or a little cranky, I do have like a pinched nerve in my back, and I have been severely uncomfortable for almost 2 hours or over 2 hours straight. And that had a little bit to do with it.
For their entertainment, for your entertainment, he's hurting himself. So
Yeah,
Absolutely.
hit
I
that
never
ending
thought.
desk.
hit that like button, you
Computer.
jackasses.
So we will see you around, and obviously we'll be back here